sebelum kita memulakan kita punya spoiler talk malam ni, aku rasa amat penting untuk kita buat satu reaksi terhadap beberapa pendedahan yang telah keluar over last Friday, di mana minggu lepas laman vulture.com telah mendedahkan 3 benda. Nombor 1 ialah 100 daripada 1000 animator yang telah meninggalkan produksi filem Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse selama tempoh 5 tahun produksinya kerana mereka dipaksa kerja 7 hari seminggu selama 11 jam sehari. Dan kedua, penerbit Phil Lord telah veto keputusan ketiga-tiga pengarah Across the Spider-Verse dengan merombak naratif dan juga visual sebanyak 5 kali selepas babak animasi final render telah disiapkan all 5 times. Gila babi tu. Dan yang ketiga, komen penerbit Amy Pascal tentang rombakan final render sebanyak 5 kali ni, dia dengan selambanya bercakap, if the story isn't right, you have to keep going until it is. I guess, welcome to making a movie. Kibat ya. Alright. So untuk segmen ni aku ada 3 soalan. Soalan pertama adalah untuk Fik ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang produksi Across the Spider-Verse yang teruk gila sampai animators diperhambakan oleh Sony Pictures untuk bekerja 7 hari seminggu, 11 jam sehari selama 5 tahun. So silakan.
Okay, 7 hari seminggu, 11 jam sehari. Okay. So first of all, kita cakap daripada perspektif visual artist kan. Memang duka cita tahu berita ni after kita tonton Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse kan. Dia rasa seperti penghambaan lah kepada visual artist untuk terkejar-kejarkan buat animasi Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse ni. Walaupun this film memang sangat-sangat superb, dia punya animation dia memang sangat cantik. Mungkin kita boleh katakan kalau filem Avatar tu adalah filem yang sangat visually cantik, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse ni animation dia sangat-sangat cantik. So dia setaraf dengan benda tu lah. Tapi selepas kita tahu dia orang semua ni dikerjakan seperti hamba abdi, perlu siapkan, walau macam mana pun perlu siapkan, memang sakit lah. Sakit untuk visual artist, bukan untuk Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse je, juga untuk filem yang lain. Sebab kita tahu studio akan minta visual artist untuk buat lah projek-projek yang dia nak buat ni kan. Tapi kalau kita cakap daripada skop audience, yang meninggalkan Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 100 orang kan, 100 orang yang meninggalkan Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, tapi the balance dalam 900 plus something, total 1000 lebih rasanya visual artist yang ada dalam ni. Mereka bertungkus lumus nak kena siapkan Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and surprisingly semua orang suka. Sebab biasanya kalau kita tonton cerita macam ni, kalau ada masalah-masalah macam writing, masalah dari segi VFX effect dan sebagainya, filem ni akan nampak sign dia yang akan flop lah dan sebagainya. Tapi Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse manage untuk membuatkan kita rasa surprise lah. Tapi sedih untuk tahu VFX artist perlu lalui semua benda ni. Memang sangat-sangat kejam untuk diorang. Ya.
Itulah. Nampaknya macam Hollywood Studios ni memperhambakan diorang because they can, and nobody is saying anything about it. Yeah. Alright, soalan kedua adalah untuk saya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang penerbit Phil Lord, which is a creative genius, tapi bila kau rombak storyline tu 5 kali lepas dah habis final render, what the fuck is that? So apa pendapat kau? Is creativity and genius above human working conditions? Silakan.
Okay, dari segi etikanya memang teruk lah kan. Diorang langgar orang punya rights to like, a decent working life, work-life balance. Tapi ultimately bukan nak kata it should happen the way it did, but it did happen the way it did. Then the result, it shows it all lah. Macam maybe we want to live in a world where people don't suffer for a good product, tapi inilah dunia yang kita duduk sekarang, kita huni sekarang. Jadi saya rasa macam nak veto tu, kalau dia memang dia ada kuasa tu, maybe dia berhak untuk veto. Tapi at the same time, 5 kali tu is kind of ridiculous because they could have just gone for one vision and stick to that. And knowing that the world is so vast and so big, diorang boleh je bagi tahu cerita yang rombakan yang pertama, and then you can do the other 4 for multiple movies. Man, more money, man. Like it's already written. Like I don't get why buat banyak kali. You know, like now we want to know lah kan. So orang ramai nak tahu beza sangat ke 4 lagi rombakan tu. So yeah, I think that's my thought on that.
Itulah kan. And I personally feel the Pixar way of membuat filem animasi is healthier, di mana mereka tak buat final render ya, diorang buat animatics and then diorang tunjuk kepada the whole Pixar punya staff. Lepas tu semua orang boleh bagi dia punya point of view. So sekadar animatics tu tak ada final render, kalau kau nak rombak 20 kali pun orang tak kisah pun. Tapi bila kau dah render sampai habis kan, that's crazy. Alright, soalan ketiga adalah untuk Munif untuk segmen reaksi ni. Apakah pendapat anda tentang komen penerbit Kak Amy cari pasal kita yang agak tone deaf dia tak takut kena cancel ke? Ataupun adakah ini business as usual untuk studio Hollywood tindas VFX houses sedunia? Di mana dia kata, welcome to making movies. Silakan.
Apa tu lah, as someone who works in the digital design punya industry, so to speak, this really comes a bit close to home lah, admittedly. Sebab itulah, when you say it's welcome to movie making, when you say, you know, this is the status quo lah, this is memang how it is in these industries. I mean, I don't deny that it's true. It's true dalam architecture where I'm working. It's true dalam the animation industry where they're working. But just because something is the status quo doesn't mean something needs to stay that way. Sebab back then, slavery was the status quo. Slavery was law in some states in the US. So, you know, shit had to change because ultimately, just because something is the law, is the standard, is the norm, doesn't mean it's right. No? So further elaboration on that point juga, this is not welcome to movie making. This is welcome to indecisive, horrible, poorly executed management. That's what it's welcoming to sebenarnya. Sebab I've never done obviously yang cartoon animation ke benda, but when I do my 3D models for buildings, satu aku pun ada kadang-kadang kena animate juga sceneries, walkthroughs of that building, of that park ke benda ke. You have a couple of things that goes into a project to avoid these stupid things from happening. Number one, whatever industry you're working in, every project akan ada work program. So that's time versus task per week, per month or something. So if you're not following the work program, that's a management issue. That's a leadership issue. Yang tu satu. The other thing is that, macam Nick cakap lah, bila cakap saya on the topic of final render kan, dia yang sakit tu bila kau dah final render, and aku ni final render still images pun dah sakit kalau suruh ubah. Ini kau suruh ubah final render of animated scene tau, which is actually very insane. So sebab tu lah kau ada mock-ups, kau ada, you know, pre-rendered images, kau ada freaking storyboards. So your design direction tu should have been focused during this mock-up stages tau. Bila dah confirm memang tak nak ubah, yes, this is the direction we want to go, then you render. Lepas tu kau nak ubah pun, it's just, you know, maybe small visual comments, visual nitpicks, not to change the whole macam scheme tu 4, 5, 6 times. To cap it all off pula, dah lah kau make this crazy demands. The worst part is that, and aku tahu dia definitely go through ni juga, all those changes, tapi the deadline remains unchanged. Which is why jadi that crunch time tu lah. Benda ni ada dalam video game, ada in the industry I work in, and of course what these guys are going through lah, these VFX punya artists ni. You do all these crazy changes which shouldn't happen in the first place with good management, and then deadline remains. So macam tu gila lah, memang tak achieve. Matilah dia orang ni kan. It's just impossible. And to cap it all off, aku punya final point nak ulas pasal benda stupid ni is that it all boils down to one very simple thing. This Amy Pascal and the bozos yang in management and executive they've never done this shit even a single minute in their life. So bila kau tak pernah buat benda tu, it breeds macam mana dia macam indifference tau. Indifference is worse than not knowing. Kalau kau tak tahu boleh aja. Tapi sebab kau indifferent, kau macam it is your job. Aku tak nak rasa job tu susah macam mana, but you know it's your job, so I assume kau boleh settlekan dengan sangat mudah lah. Lagi-lagi boomer ya.
Awak tekan-tekan butang je dekat komputer tu siap lah.
Betul. Lagi-lagi boomer yang buta IT ni, kau bayangkan macam aku dulu pun pernah kena buat projek universiti. Dalam universiti ada berbelas building, so kena buat faculty, cafe, surau, asrama, ada 6 biji commercial area semua. Nak buat design from scratch dari kosong, jadikan pula 3D bangunan, rendered, animated, dia nak seminggu je. Lepas tu bila aku cakap that deadline is impossible, kau tahu bos aku si boomer ni cakap apa? Dia kata pakai komputer kan? Macam okay, so what kan kau pakai komputer? Tekan satu butang siap lah. Dia cakap apa masalah? So this is the problem. Semua benda yang aku sebut tadi, whatever lah, at the end of the day, it boils down to this one thing. The ones yang bagi arahan pun tak pernah kerja from the bottom up. The ones yang bagi arahan tu has never done production. Most of them are just rich guys yang immediately masuk into management and executive positions. Never done production one day in your life. This is how you make all these crazy demands. So, this thing needs to be addressed lah. Macam aku cakap lah, just because it's the industry norm, welcome to filmmaking, no. Doesn't mean it should stay. Because slavery was in law pun dulu, and now it's gone. So take a cue from that lah.
Itulah kan masalahnya, unlike the writers dan juga pelakon dan pengarah, VFX houses ni tak ada union yang kuat So kalau US punya VFX house tak nak ambil, India punya VFX house akan ambil job tu, Korea punya VFX house. So itulah masalahnya, diorang terus-menerus ditindas untuk tekan USD, unfortunately. Alright, so kita ada beberapa komen menarik untuk segmen ini. Pertama, terima kasih Ajik Chaos untuk super chat RM9.90 anda, belanja kita orang teh tarik. Thank you. Dan seterusnya Dominic Tan bertanya, diorang punya gaji setimpal ke dengan kerja kena buat? Unfortunately tidak. Basically kerja-kerja VFX ni adalah tender job. So diorang akan quote semerendah mungkin kepada Marvel Studios, Sony Pictures dan juga DC Studios semata-mata untuk mendapat job tu. So dah lah, kau punya deadline is impossible. Macam kau dah ada date, Secret Wars kena keluar 2027, and then you quote down. So siapa yang menang tu bukannya bagus tau. It's like bala yang kau kena buat until 2027. Kau kena buat 5, 10 times, 20 times changes. Macam tu lah. So gaji diorang ciput, hidup diorang susah. Setengah animator terpaksa pergi ke Canada because rent is cheaper in Canada, and diorang boleh continue doing the job 7 days a week, 11 hours a day. So it's a crazy punya lifestyle lah, and something's gonna change. Silakan, Sai.
Adding to that, I remember this one video, a good video about VHS artist. Diorang dah buat semua benda, and then kena ubah some the problem is, and for example when you look at a movie like Ant-Man Quantumania kan, contohnya Ant-Girl kan, dia punya VFX ke untuk the whole suit kan. So VFX effects kan untuk the whole suit. The problem is the suit is not prosthetics kan. So the problem is dia suka ubah benda last minute. Even kat dalam Avengers Endgame punya suit diorang masa diorang nak pergi buat time heist tu, yang suit warna putih tu, sebenarnya rupa dia totally lain before that, and then they keep changing it last minute. And the problem is you have a deadline, they keep adding to stuff, and these are they following the deadline also their contracts. So gaji diorang dah kind of like stay, tapi dia punya kerja dia bertimbun. So what happens is a lot of people actually kalau sekarang dekat US kan, diorang dapat kerja kan, dia like finding out there, kalau ada dia punya manager diorang connect kan if it's like a Marvel job or something big like this, and you know, tak kisahlah Sony ke Marvel ke DC ke yang strenuous macam ni, semua dah ketolak. Kata aku nak kerja VFX, aku nak kerja anything, you know, anything else, you know, like Life of Pi or something, a one off, not a big movie or big franchise like this.
Yeah, that is the sad reality of VFX houses versus Hollywood lah. Alright, seterusnya kita ada soalan dari Jaswan yang bertanya, sequel Into the Spider-Verse boleh je tunggu sampai 5 tahun. Kenapa sequel Across the Spider-Verse nak rushing? Ada kaitan dengan upcoming SSU movie ke? Contohnya Madam Web ke? Aku rasa macam Munif cakap tadi, ini masalah the executives dan penerbit. Diorang ingat buat senang. Macam alah, dalam 5 tahun ni bolehlah kau buat Across dan Beyond at the same time. Kan? So I think the reality is now crashing on them that they spend 5 years just nak habiskan Across. And sekarang diorang ada sampai bulan 3 to finish Beyond. It's never gonna happen, man. It's never gonna happen. Secara realistiknya, kau ambil 5 tahun nak buat Across. Do you think you're gonna finish Beyond? Sekarang bulan apa? Bulan 6. Kau ingat bulan 3 tahun depan kau dah siap? Ya, silakan.
Just untuk tambah lah kan. Betul lah, it doesn't make sense lah. Even karakter Spider-Punk, untuk buat karakter tu saja, dia punya frame rate dan sebagainya kan, makan masa almost 3 tahun tau. And kita dah ada info terbaru, di mana Beyond the Spider-Verse nanti kita akan explore lebih dalam dunia Spider-Punk macam mana. So how dia orang nak buat world build up untuk Spider-Punk, kalau karakter tu saja pun dah almost 3 tahun. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense lah.
Dia bukan kau boleh tekan butang dia dah siap dah. So macam tu lah kan. Alright, seterusnya kita ada soalan menyimpang daripada Shika Marul. Writer strike dekat sana dah habis ke belum? Tidak. Sekarang I think writer strike is entering week 9 ataupun week 10. The last time tahun 2007-2008 that they had a writer strike, the Writers Guild of America mogok selama 100 hari dan ia menyebabkan kerugian oleh studio-studio Hollywood sebanyak 2 bilion. So aku expect tahun 2024 nanti siri TV, filem yang kita menunggu-nunggu takkan sampai pasal dia orang tak dapat shoot because you need a writer on set untuk tukar last minute script changes and shit like that. So 2024 might be a shitty year. After 2023 ni penuh tepu dengan filem-filem awesome. Seterusnya Syarul bertanya, adakah studio animasi macam studio Ghibli juga ada masalah macam ni? The final products are gorgeous as fuck. I think so. I think the Japanese animation industry lagi teruk daripada the global VFX punya industry. Munif, kau nak cakap apa-apa tentang ni?
Itulah. I don't know much about individual studios so macam what they are going through kan. Tapi in some cases memang kau boleh tengok the yang Japanese industry, they actually, to sum it in one word, dia lagi cutthroat. Kau bayangkan kalau kau tak make the cut kan, ada setengah macam benda tu dah serialization, tapi tahan macam tak sampai 2-3 buku dah terus kena act. So kalau kau tak capai macam fans yang baca sebanyak-banyak ni semua, and tu tak cakap lagi pasal the many one shots yang terkubur pasal orang baca tak dapat sampai tamat ni, cut macam tu. So when because dia the numero uno tau, tak ada competition in producing manga the whole nation kan, so jadinya dia jadi sangat-sangat cutthroat, and then that's why people sampai sacrifice their health untuk meet this crazy demands and deadlines to just have a chance of having their manga being published. Bukan kata lah, cakap aku tengok Oda Sensei pun dah buat One Piece ni, dah, you know, it's the holy trinity of manga and anime, dah memang the best selling manga. So dia pun sampai dia punya wife cakap every day minimum tidur 3 AM. So sekarang ni sampai One Piece kena pause beberapa bulan sebab dia pergi buat eye surgery lah apalah. And that's Oda lah. Not some unknown bugger dari mana trying to make it big, you know, as a manga artist tiba-tiba kan. So bukan nak kata dia punya culture tu macam bad ke apa, tapi it's a double-edged sword. Ni lah that meme yang DJ Khaled suffering from success kan. So industri dia terlalu booming, so they don't have time for good products pun. Everything needs to be excellent to be published. So you're gonna have to break your bodies to even get your shit seen. So that's what it is lah.
Unfortunately, aku rasa kreatif punya industri ni agak senang untuk orang berhambakan kau. And aku agree dengan apa yang Ajik Chaos katakan ini. Dah sampai rosak mata, dan dia menambah bahawa the bigger the project, the more headache you suffer, whatever industry you're in.
Betul.
Alright, back on topic. Soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini daripada Rahman pula yang bertanya, watak Prowler, lakonan Donald Glover, adakah daripada MCU Universe Earth 1999? So far diorang keeping quiet about it, so aku rasa ni adalah variant je lah. Bukan the secret timeline, bukan the prime Earth, tapi hanyalah variant. Alright. So dengan itu berakhirlah segmen reaksi kita, dan sekarang kita akan membincangkan 5 likes ataupun 5 benda yang kita suka tentang filem Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Alright, so segmen pertama kita adalah tentang multiverse, multi-art, di mana filem ini menerokai 6 dunia dengan 6 different art styles. Tapi kalau ada extra art styles untuk villain-villain dia, so in total it's about 8 hingga 9 art styles. So dalam segmen ni pun aku ada 3 soalan, satu untuk setiap panelis. Pertama adalah untuk Fik. Apakah pendapat anda tentang filem ini dibuka dan ditutup dengan dunia Spider-Gwen Earth 65 yang penuh dengan emotion based pop art style? So bila dia sedih, semua benda jadi purple. Bila dia happy, semua benda jadi pink. Kemudian kita lompat ke dunia Miles Morales Earth 1610 yang telah menjadi fokus utama di dalam Into the Spider-Verse. So silakan.
Okay, before kita pergi ke Earth 65, dunia Spider-Gwen, saya nak pujilah VFX artist untuk Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse again, sebab diorang berjaya untuk buat apa yang Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness tak mampu buat lah. Which is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness dia just pass by, tapi dalam Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse kita ada 6 hingga 8 universe yang diterokai. Dia punya world build up pun sangat cantik. Untuk Spider-Gwen tu sendiri, dunia dia macam seolah-olah seperti majalah yang based on her emotion ataupun emosi untuk bapak dia, Captain Stacy kan. Dan benda tu sangat-sangat cantik lah, dan juga refreshing daripada segi story. Sebab mula-mula masa kita masuk Power Gum and tiba-tibanya kita tonton dunia Spider-Gwen, like kita macam what the heck kan, kenapa kita nak tengok Spider-Gwen, kita nak tengok Miles Morales. Tapi ada sebab kenapa diorang pilih untuk munculkan Spider-Gwen pada mulanya, dan juga tutup filem ni dengan Spider-Gwen, which is Spider-Gwen ni bukan sahaja satu karakter yang kita nak explore, bukan saja kita nak tengok dia punya character development, tetapi karakter Spider-Gwen ni sendiri dia ada kaitan dengan Miles Morales, dia ada kaitan dengan Spider Society, dia ada kaitan dengan Spider-Verse, which is dia macam nak kata dia ni seperti plot device tak juga, tapi dia ada connection untuk pergi ke Miles, pergi ke Spider Society dan sebagainya. And even producer Amy Pascal pun dah confirm lah about this thing, di mana dalam Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse pun dia nak explore relationship di antara Miles dengan dengan Gwen Stacy. And benda tu memang ditunjukkan lah, cumanya kali ni kita hanya nampak the part 1 of Across the Spider-Verse. After this kita akan nampak lebih mendalam lah tentang apa hubungan mereka berdua ni. Dan apa yang saya nak puji lagi, how diorang letakkan story Gwen Stacy ni, Spider-Gwen ni, dan juga dia tak left out, dia tak tinggalkan story Gwen Stacy tentang dia konflik dia dengan bapak dia. Dia tak biarkan begitu saja macam cerita The Flash. Flash dengan mak dia tak leave it just like that lah. Dia sambung sikit demi sikit sehingga kan penghujung tu dia rapat dia tutup cerita Spider-Gwen ni dengan bapaknya bersara daripada police department dan memilih untuk bersama dengan Gwen, which is story tu sangat-sangat beautiful. Sebelum ni kita rasa macam Gwen ni apa, dia lari daripada tanggungjawab dia lari daripada untuk handling konflik dengan bapak dia. Tapi selepas kena campak dengan Miguel, dia handle that conflict very well. And selepas masa tu dia rasa okay, this is a thing that I need to tell Miles, this is a thing that I need to tell Miguel, yang canon event boleh diubah dan sebagainya. Dan dia recruit balik member-member lama dia Spider Noir, lepas tu ada Peter Ben Parker, ada juga Penny Parker dan ramai lagi lah untuk bawa kita semua ke Spider-Man Across, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. So overall, apa saya boleh kata, susunan story daripada first act, second act, third act untuk cerita ni dan untuk Spider-Gwen memang sangat-sangat cantik. Walaupun Spider-Gwen dapat dia punya spotlight dalam 10-15%, tapi it suit well dengan storyline. Ya.
Soalan bonus ya. Bila aku tengok the second time, aku baru perasan
Okay.
babak pertama tu Spider-Gwen macam dia tengah bercakap pada diri sendiri dan dia macam regret that she brought Miles into this. Jadi
Yes.
persoalan aku, is that first scene actually the end? Maksudnya Spider-Gwen is telling the whole story to us. Apa pendapat kau?
Ya, kinda make sense. Dia bukannya cerita kepada, dia bukan cerita untuk dia ceritakan diri sendiri, dia nak bagi tahu kepada kita sebab kita dah dapat banyak cerita Peter Parker become Spider-Man macam mana. And for the first time dalam Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse pun dia dah cerita how I became Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman dan sebagainya. Tapi kali ni dia go in depth tentang konflik bapak dia. Dia nak kita semua tahu yang apa yang diceritakan ni akan berkait dengan apa yang akan datang, which is story tentang Miles nanti. Seorang bapa dengan anak lah.
Alright, nice. Okay, soalan kedua untuk segmen ni adalah untuk Munif ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang filem Across the Spider-Verse? Kemudian melonjak ke dua lagi dunia berbeza. Kita ada Spider-Man India's Mountbatten iaitu Earth 50101, serta dunia futuristik Spider-Man 2099 iaitu Earth 2099 yang berdasarkan neo-futurist concept art oleh legenda Sid Mead. So, silakan.
Okay, first of all, untuk yang Miguel punya dunia kan, aku cakap, also as a designer, kadang bila kita macam duk discuss pasal, future cities, how would KL look like 50 years from now, nak try future proofing the designs of towns, future proofing architecture and urban design kan. Kadang-kadang tu lah memang when you look at Sid punya kerja kan, his body of work kan, macam wow, how does he come up with these crazy visuals tau? Macam things that are not there yet but somehow feels lived in and possible tau. Sebab dia punya imagination tu memang gila babi lah. And if you are an aspiring visual concept artist or something, and his stuff should be in your Pinterest and all that. So the guys at Sony pun memang terbaik gila, because if you're gonna choose a case study, then you cannot go wrong by choosing the best. And I mean the best, pasal this guy, he has done work on Aliens, Blade Runner, Tron, Star Trek, Elysium, Tomorrowland. All this sci-fi pop culture punya settings ada penglibatan dia. And one of his many, kalau kau tengok portfolio banyak gila macam vehicles and mecha punya design kan. One of his illustrations actually inspired George Lucas to make the iconic 8080. Semua tu inspired dari dia. Gila tak? So aku kalau tengok some of his talks on YouTube lah, one of the things yang aku suka dia cakap is apa tau, dia approach bila dia design this sci-fi landscapes is that reality, sci-fi is just reality ahead of schedule. Tu slogan dia. So that's why dia when he designs his futurescapes, there's some weight to the realism of apa yang dia design, and that gets you immersed into his world. So bila the guys behind the Spider-Verse take inspiration from this conceptual design guru, memang this is the results that you get lah. And it's no coincidence kalau tengok at Miguel punya dunia kan, the scenes yang ada, dia ada that chase at the highway lah tu, naik to that interstellar train apa semua kan. It's no coincidence it's heavily featuring futuristic vehicles because they're inspired by Sid's punya kerja lah, which almost exclusively features futuristic vehicles and backdrops lah. So You cannot choose a better case study than that. So kudos to the team. It's memang reflected in Miguel punya world tu, which nicely done. And aku quite suka pasal like I said, it's a realistic depiction of the future. So usually kalau cakap future, it's all very dark. It's either dark and bleak and shitty, atau it's just too sterilized sampai macam ni apa, angels ke datang take over the earth 100 years later dah tak nampak human dah tau. Tapi because they inspired by Sid ni, dia nampak it's futuristic, but they still nampak ada sense of normalcy tau, that 10 years 20 years from now I can see us going there. So that helps with the immersion, that it's not too dystopian and not too utopian juga, but nampak macam like a reachable future. So yeah, kudos to that on Miguel punya world. On Mumbatan ni pula, aku punya ulasan sini dia akan culminate in a lesson of sorts. So pasal Mumbatan ni, as an architect, memang aku punya visual senses tu memang triggered lah, nampak you ada all these architectural features from Indian architecture, from colonial architecture, and of course from the skylines of Manhattan lagi benda semua kan. So but I'm not gonna bore you with that part of the ulasan lah. I'm not gonna bore you with architecture, with urbanism, with the nak membedah pasal the principles of the punya colour scheme and so on. Yang tu kau nak sembang itu aku can jumpa on another day. But for today, yang aku nak ulas pasal Mumbatan ni is, when you look at it, tolak tepi all those architecture principles and amalgamations or whatever. What brings to life the setting is actually all the nitty-gritty, grimy stuff. You're talking about the traffic jams. You're talking about the close strings. You're talking about the street vendors. You're talking about the messed up power lines macam kat Phuket. You're talking about the street dogs. You're talking about the whole family on a motorbike sampai spot tegur, this looks dangerous. So it's those things that makes the setting, walaupun dia highly stylistic, it's amalgamation of two different worlds, but it feels very immersed and lived in. It's because of this nitty-gritty stuff, which leads to my, orang kata macam cakap, dia ada a lesson a bit to learn for us as human beings, is that apa tau. So those nitty-gritty stuff is part of the charm that makes the world feels immersed. Unfortunately, couple of years back, kalau korang ingat, during the 2010 Commonwealth game, the Indian government back then just decide to pasang hoarding, advertisement boards and bamboo screens to shut off like the whole slums and undesirable perspectives of the city, because they nak host the Commonwealth Games, and which to me is kind of sad, because just because you sweep it under the rug doesn't mean they do not exist. And bila kau tengok tu Spider-Verse, they celebrate the grandeur and the grimy. They celebrate the glitz and even at the bottom rung lah, so to speak. It's the juxtaposition of the two yang membuatkan kau dapat rasa macam, I could totally see myself existing in this world, walaupun dia sangat stylized. That immersion is created because it's real. The world is made up of these two parts. So even tahun ni pun macam aku perbaca an artikel lah, India akan host a G20 event in 2023, and again they're getting ready with all the sheets and the hoardings to block off the undesirable parts of the city. Yet in this internationally beloved animation, that's the part that actually made the city. So let humanity win. And to end off aku punya komen pasal ni, just one funny story is that coincidentally yesterday aku lunch dengan mak aku. Kau tahu tiba-tiba randomly dia cakap kat aku apa, dia kata, hey, mak dah lama tak minum chai tea ni, mana nak cari lah. I'm like, what? Chai tea? You saying tea? Aku bagi kat mak aku. Yeah, that's it for me.
Goodness biji man. Tapi itulah bila kau cakap tentang the urban poor tu, aku teringat cerita Slumdog Millionaire. Amitabh Bachchan, scene tu memang klasik tu, dia keluar daripada tai.
Amitabh Bachchan.
But yes, that's what made Mountbatten come alive. The fact that diorang meraihkan orang gila-gila ni, try show kau letak seluruh family. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Congrats kepada dia punya VFX house daripada India that work on that. Alright, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ni adalah untuk Sai. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the fact that even villain-villain picisan, kalau kau tengok overlay dekat bawah tu, diorang pun mendapat their own dunia in a sense. So kalau kau tengok The Spot, dia punya flashback semua ialah nightmare world yang penuh dengan pencils and ink, so it was black and white. Kemudian The Vulture yang was in Act 1 daripada Earth TRN 1032, yang tu lebih macam Italian Renaissance, semua benda guna paper lama zaman dulu. And then even The Prowler Earth 42 dalam Act 3, it's like rain soak, everything's on fire. It's like the opposite of like Earth 1610. So the fact that they each have their own art style, apa pendapat kau? Silakan.
Alright, actually to tell you the truth, to be honest, I want more. I want even more villains there, but the main conflict that they're selling here is the conflict among Spider-Man, among the Spider people. I think to me, I'm glad memang berpuas hati lah, macam semua orang punya art style lain, sebab menunjukkan memang masalah something collider tu kan, yang daripada yang movie pertama yang Kingpin pergi arahkan untuk buat tu, dia kan dia memang daripada banyak dimensi kan, so make sense lah yang bukan saja Spider-Man je ada dia punya art style sendiri, all the villains have them too, like even though there's not a lot of that, I especially like dia bila waktu Vulture kan, masa dia lawan ada at one point macam some part of him, dia punya sayap dia kena belah or something like that, and then they just bring it back or something, and then dia keluarkan senjata kan. Lepas tu dia ada macam like panel kat bawah kan, macam dia ada bagi tahu macam fakta, dia ada this concept where it's like a taking something from an infinite space. It's a concept used in the comics to explain stuff. It reminds me of villain kepada Superman, Black Spot, yang dia ada banyak versi. Ada satu versi futuristic, dia just macam make stuff appear, and to me that makes the villain even more formidable. The problem with Spider-Man is that unlike dia punya villain, dia tak banyak projectile. Mostly it's just his web, and then when he runs out of web, like he can't do anything, right? So for a villain to be able to bring out of nowhere a weapon of sorts, dia jadi macam Spider-Man memang senang nak jadi macam susah lah untuk Spider-Man nak menang kan. Dan benda ni takkan jadi possible kalau diorang tak membenarkan the concept of different art style. So when they put everything in, there's like a sense to that. Then even kalau macam when you look at Spot kan, the pencil light thing, it's like is supposed to show that dia tak ada arah tuju hidup. Dia memang scientist, dia memang pandai, tapi tak macam Peter Parker. Dia macam tak ada, dia tak ada harapan, dia tak ada tempat nak pergi jauh. Sebab dia asalnya memang dia musuh Peter Parker pun. Dia pergi reinvent jadi musuh Miles Morales, which I think is a good choice. So jadi dia macam dia dah lukiskan what he think, how he think his life should go. You know what I mean, like a storyboard. Tapi dia tak boleh fill in with the colours because there's no colours in his life. He has like not gone to an adventure where he feels fulfilling. So therefore hitam putih and pencil sketch tu really fits him. And later on bila dia tunjuk dia dah jadi the ultimate form dekat Mountbatten tu, dia dah jadi the inverse part. So instead of like mostly putih, dia jadi mostly hitam, yang lebih-lebih tu je putih. So this shows that it's like he's barely human anymore. Now he's this thing. No, he's the spot. He's no longer I don't remember I don't remember his name, the name of the doctor, but it's no longer that doctor. He is the spot. So I think for one thing, there's criticism to be made, you know, that the differences in art style when it comes to these villains, especially Vulture, is kind of like too much then, and it can like kind of hurt your eyes because of like you put it in the 3D world and you also make him 3D but it's kind of 2D at the same time, and it's moving fast and everything is moving so fluidly. But because of this movie being what it is, to me like kalau aku review pun kan, saya review pun nak konsisten ni guna saya lah, saya review pun cerita ni dia dah macam dah tolak ke depan merit baru untuk kita menghakimi filem, yakni merit di mana kita boleh kata fan service tu is a thing. So you know, like cinematography, plot, acting and all that, and writing and all that. So to me this movie also kedepankan fan service itself. You know, of course they have meaning lah, not the original fan service, if you know what I mean. So what fan service means to us now, so the fact that diorang pergi macam like someone out there might be a fan of this version of Vulture. You know, a lot of us may not be familiar, but someone out there is a fan. And now, not only that, the main story, the 5 movies of Spider-Man is all canon, the death of everyone, and then there's Aaron Davis yang versi Childish Gambino is there. It's also for the villains that they also matter. Even they orang dekat satu bahagian komik, sudut komik yang orang tak nampak, tapi peminat dia nampak. And they are catered for. And I think that's awesome. I think the mishmash of what do you call it thing, styles here really match the overall storytelling, which is akin to movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So yeah, I think it's a win. It's awesome, man.
By the way, untuk mereka yang tidak arif, apa yang saya cakap tadi adalah tentang hammer space. So hammer space ni merupakan, ataupun lebih dikenali sebagai mallet space, is a fan envision extra dimensional instantly accessible storage area di dalam kartun yang kita dah nampak dari zaman dulu. Kalau korang ingat Elmer Fudd versus Bugs Bunny, ataupun masa Roadrunner versus the Coyote, and even Doraemon, diorang sentiasa ada space untuk keluarkan weapon lah apalah. So it's cool that dalam Spider-Verse ni pun Mamak Vulture tu ada hammer space. That was like wow, klasik. Alright, so kita ada beberapa soalan. Pertama, Caleb Paul bertanya, siapakah yang create Spider-Man 299? Jawapannya adalah penulis Peter David dan juga artis Rick Leonardi mencipta Spider-Man 299 ataupun Miguel O'Hara pada tahun 1992 ketika Marvel Comics nak start a new line of futuristic reimagining of their heroes. So aku rasa the initial 4 was like Spider-Man 299, Punisher 299, Doom 299. Lepas tu the last one was a character sendiri, Ravager. But over time kau ada X-Men 299 dan kau ada banyak lagi watak lah. Itulah, ada banyak lagi. So it's a deep cut going all the way back ke 1992. Alright, seterusnya soalan tentang The Spot ni kita akan explain dalam segmen seterusnya. Kemudian the last question daripada News ST. Ada rumours yang mengatakan bahawa Spider-Gwen adalah transgender sebab dalam bilik dia ada poster Save Trans Kids. Ultimately, ia menyebabkan Across the Spider-Verse telah di-ban di kebanyakan Middle East countries, terutamanya UAE. Ya, silakan Fik. Kalau kau nak cakap tentang topik ni, silakan.
Oh, ni tak ada nak petik sangat ataupun nak kupas pasal LGBT plus ni kan. Tapi dia lebih kepada audience lah, especially general audience. Bila tengok Across the Spider-Verse and nampak Gwen, terutamanya nampak poster tu dan sebagainya, diorang banyak blame on colour iteration, penggunaan colour dalam Spider-Gwen. Contohnya warna pink, warna putih, dan melambangkan Spider-Gwen ni adalah transgender. Dia ni sebenarnya tak suka lelaki, dia ni suka perempuan. Dan benda tu macam salah lah sebenarnya. Apa yang visual artist ataupun orang yang melukis Spider-Gwen, dia punya dunia dan sebagainya, dia orang sebenarnya nak tunjukkan yang ini dunia Spider-Gwen ni adalah based on emotional. Kalau dia marah macam mana warnanya, kalau dia malu macam mana warnanya, itu yang diorang cuba nak project. Tapi general audience diorang salah faham ataupun salah tafsir on that. Especially bab-bab poster tu lah. So ramai sekarang ni yang assume Spider-Gwen transgender. Tapi hopefully tak lah. Hopefully SSU tak pergi on woke stuff, woke agenda, something like that. Yeah.
Aku pun percaya bahawa animator tu nak tunjuk dia tengah gusar ataupun tengah
Yes.
sedih. That's why purple je. Lepas tu bila dia happy, pink. So tu je lah. Tapi masalahnya warna ungu dan pink dan putih adalah warna bendera transgender. So orang salah faham lah. Ya,
ni
silakan.
nak buat pembetulan sikit. Okay, dari segi bahasa kan. Transgender is like orang yang dia rasa macam, contoh macam like I'm a guy kan. Saya lelaki, betul rasa macam saya perempuan sebenarnya. That's like transgender, you know what I mean? Tapi kalau ni mungkin audience maksudkan kat sini ni bisexual atau lesbian. Bisexual dia berminat kepada dua-dua seks, lelaki dengan perempuan. Lesbian yang homoseksual lah, yang sendiri punya ni. Kalau lelaki suka lelaki, perempuan suka perempuan. So that's it. I just want to betulkan yang that part. Tapi bagi saya dari segi warna tu, saya tak tangkap sejauh mana yang dari segi warna bendera. Bagi saya dia sekadar alat untuk mendatangkan penceritaan dunia Spider-Gwen. Dan kalau tak saya kat komik pun dia punya gambar dia, colour scheme dia lebih kurang. So saya tak rasa itu menunjukkan bendera tu. Tapi at the same time saya juga tak rasa macam diorang tak woke. Saya rasa memang diorang woke, totally going there, and it's up to you to either care about that, let that ruin your day, or you can ignore that and enjoy the rest of it. And to me, I just want to enjoy the rest of it while acknowledging it's totally woke. I'm not for it, but I'm not gonna be like totally against it either, because you know, you do what you want in your bedroom. I don't care. That's your business.
At least identity tu tidak menular masuk dalam storyline dan affect storyline. So itu atas pendapat setiap orang lah sebagai penonton. So kita ada soalan bonus daripada Nur Anis Syahrum yang bertanya, Fik, Spider-Punk or Spider-Man 2099? Silakan.
Oh, ni susah ni sebenarnya. Ni soalan susah lah. Spider-Man 2099, dia basically memang dia punya karakter tu sangat best lah. But as for Spider-Punk yang muncul hanya just for a few minutes, I think dia memang steal the show. I think kalau kita komen kat sini pun kita buat poll kan, siapa Spider-Punk atau Spider-Man 2099, memang orang akan pergi kepada Spider-Punk sebab dia punya karakteristik seorang anarki, seorang yang akan menentang kesalahan dan sebagainya. Dia akan buat apa yang dia rasa betul. So yeah, I think set fully memang kena pilih Spider-Punk. Yeah.
Alright. Go team Hobby Brown. Let's do this.
299 for me. Dude, Oscar Isaac is perfect, man. And Miguel is so... Oh god, yeah, the Funko Pop. So you're a fan too, but you have to choose one, right? But me, 209.
Nice. Alright, aku rasa dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke like kita yang kedua. So, kita akan dan Miguel antara kita villain atau jadi 3 soalan seperti biasa. Soalan pertama untuk Fik. Apakah pendapat anda tentang subplot utama bagi filem ini merupakan hubungan simbiotik di antara Miles Morales dengan The Spot, dan bagaimana satu tidak dapat wujud tanpa diaduan? Yang aku rasa ini tidak wujud langsung di halaman Marvel Comics, namun it's a fresh take untuk animated adaptation ini. So silakan.
Yes, saya agree on this is a fresh take lah untuk Spider-Man punya penceritaan ataupun superhero punya penceritaan sendiri. This is the thing yang lacking dalam superhero movie sekarang ni, di mana diorang diorang mungkin ada dia punya creative team cuba untuk bawakan satu storyline yang unik, tapi kita rasakan dia repetitif, berulang yang sama, superhero akan save the day and on kan. Tapi this time that villain Spot ataupun Jonathan On tu yang mencipta Miles Morales, tetapi Miles Morales mencipta pula Jonathan On sebagai The Spot, which is itu satu sentimen ataupun satu benda yang bawakan dalam cerita ni yang sangat-sangat bagus dia punya twist, sebab kita tak expect benda ni akan datang. Before this kita dapat villain-villain contohnya seperti Spider-Man Tom Holland, dia punya villain Mysterio tu datang daripada Iron Man, but this time dia bukan datang daripada Miles Morales baling bagel dekat muka dia, lepas tu dia tiba-tiba jadi The Spot and on. Itu hanyalah an event yang mana dia Jonathan On nak mensalahkan, nak blame kepada Miles Morales, you make me like this. Tapi the matter fact of it, semua benda ni yang tercipta pada mulanya adalah The Spot yang bawakan Spider daripada Earth 42 tu. Tapi nanti tu kita bincangkan nantilah. Tapi this is the thing yang sangat-sangat refreshing daripada segi storyline dan juga Miles Morales. And indeed cerita ni memang tak dibawakan daripada Marvel Komik. Miles Morales tak ada berjumpa, tak ada The Spot yang ciptakan Miles Morales, tak ada. Miles Morales datang ekoran daripada incursion yang berlaku kan, Earth 1610, Earth 616. Tapi The Spot, kalau dalam Marvel Komik dia hanyalah karakter, dia super villain tapi karakter badut saja. Dia tak ada nak bawa satu multiverse threat kepada komik sehingga kan ada komik yang spesifik The Spot is something like Kang the Conqueror, tak ada. So creative team dekat sini dia memberi satu polish, satu asahan kepada karakter The Spot, membuatkan this character is a multiverse threat dan Spider Society perlu hentikan dia. Dan nanti dekat Beyond the Spider-Verse, sebab sebelum pun kita ada bagi tahu The Spot ni memang akan jadi the main villain untuk Across the Spider-Verse dan juga Beyond the Spider-Verse. Tapi dalam Across the Spider-Verse dia hanyalah something like secret villain, hanya muncul beberapa detik saja, tapi in the third film berkemungkinan dia akan memberikan impact yang lagi besar. Tapi I love how The Spot punya character development, macam mana dia wujudkan masalah sehingga kan kita rasa macam Miles ni memang sangat-sangat problematic. Bukan daripada segi The Spot je, Miguel juga yang bring the problematic, yang kau ni problem lah apa bagai kan. So I love how dia orang bawakan The Spot daripada first act, lepas tu dia second act dia nak tunjukkan kepada Miles yang aku ni bukan villain of the week lagi bro, I am your nemesis kan. Wah, memang sangat, siapa yang menulis The Spot tu memang hands down to you, thank you very much kerana bawakan villain yang sangat powerful. And faktanya after watching Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, saya dan juga abang Munif, we talk about this thing, we talk about how can the Conqueror should terjadi, macam mana this character muncul dalam Spider-Verse ni daripada nobody to somebody, and that's how Kang the Conqueror patutnya jadi. Sebab orang tak acknowledge siapa Kang the Conqueror, dan orang pun tak acknowledge siapa The Spot ni. Tapi writer untuk The Spot ni, dia berjaya polishkan karakter The Spot tu, membuatkan orang macam wow, this villain memang sangat gila, sangat chaotic. So basically I'm totally 100% agree dengan Abang Munif lah. And saya macam tergamam dengan macam mana The Spot jadi at the end of that film, and apa yang dia akan bawakan kepada filem yang seterusnya. Hoping for the best lah.
Nice. By the way, untuk menjawab persoalan kau tadi, Fik, jawapan dia adalah penerbit Phil Lord yang suruh rombak 5 kali tu. Idea dia lah nak suruh guna The Spot tu. Aku rasa ni idea kelima dia. Idea kelima dia macam tak jadi lah, kita guna watak pecisan ni lah, korang buat lah jadi awesome, korang buat lah.
Wah, so that's why kot kenapa yang rombakan kelima ni is important. Mungkin yang sebelum ni tak sebagus yang ni kot. Okay,
it doesn't hit as much. Sai, silakan Sai, ada apa-apa nak menambah?
Tak, ni tangent je. Teringat ada seorang tweet, kan sekarang orang ada like paint him as a villain, but then in this case he's the one yang ada idea benar sih. Tengok ada satu tweet bodoh, ada tulis, oh, whoever killed Hitler is a hero. Padahal tengok dari sejarah, Hitler yang bunuh diri dia, so I saying Hitler is the hero. I just remember that.
Macam tu lah. At the end of the day, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, penerbit untuk filem ni, they are some very creative geniuses. They are the guys behind the Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. They can do anything. Tapi sometimes it is at the cost lah. Sampai kau robat 5 kali. Unfortunately. Alright, soalan seterusnya adalah untuk Sai. Apakah pendapat anda tentang peperangan ideologi di antara Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 299 dengan Miles Morales, di mana Miguel mementingkan the needs of the many outweighs the needs of the individual. Manakala Miles Morales pula, dia dengan darah muda dia, nah, I'm gonna do it myself. Dia anti predestination dan dia believe in manifest destiny. Iaitu kalau kau kerja keras, you can do it, you can change anything. So apa pendapat kau? I think these are classic philosophical questions, tapi dalam animasi untuk kanak-kanak dan remaja. So silakan.
Okay, saya rasa saya suka Miguel O'Hara, dekat dalam filem ni. Tapi saya rasa dia memang totally salah. Sebab kalau fikirkan apa yang berlaku kat dia tu, yang dunia semua tu hilang tu, itu apa yang berlaku dekat dia je. Maybe itu apa dia experience. Somewhere out there, maybe ada survive. Like, I can even speculate that maybe in the next movie is gonna be Miguel punya faction lawan dengan Madam Web punya faction. Because kind of weird that you do this like spider people thing and there's no Madam Web. So I'm still waiting for that. But that aside, nak fikirkan sebab macam Mas memang dah nampak kan, contohnya masa bapak dengan bapak dengan Gayatri tu kan, dekat dalam bas, Gayatri dekat dalam bas is like nak jatuh dekat dalam bangunan jambatan yang nak runtuh tu kan. Lepas tu dia tolong kan Spider-Man India, dia pergi tolong selamatkan, dia do things one at a time. Apa dia boleh settlekan, apa depan mata dia settlekan. So jadi Miles punya tu is not so much as dia pentingkan the needs of himself more than the needs of the many. It's more so that this is what he sees, so this is how he approach things. As for Miguel O'Hara ni terlampau vague dan terlampau philosophical. Dia mengingatkan saya kepada perang dunia kedua punya beban orang putih, beban orang putih. And diorang ingat macam, aku ada meriam, diorang ni masih lagi kuno, so aku kena merdekakan diorang, aku kena ajar diorang, aku kena culture kan, aku kena bagi diorang budaya. Jadi pemikiran tu macam otak penjajah dan saya sangat tak setuju dan saya rasa agak bodoh juga sebab okay, sekarang majority kan, kita tengok kan, Spider-Man siapa? Semua mostly Peter Parker kan. Tak ke membuatkan Gwen Stacy dekat situ, Hobby dekat situ kan, yang Spider-Man yang India, Penny Parker, even Miguel O'Hara sendiri itu dah kira macam outlier. Tak ke diorang bukan Peter Parker, or not Peter B. Parker, nothing close. So that's already like a double-edged sword. You can kind of see the flaws in that. So what's canon and what's not canon, who is he to say? He doesn't know. Like nobody knows. Miles doesn't know, he doesn't know. But unlike Miles, Miguel just assume how things are. But Miles, they just focus on what he knows and handles what he knows. So to me, in terms of like what I follow, dan rasa macam yang paling benas dan paling kira macam berakal kan, ada bersebab semua tu memang Miles punya all the way lah.
Nice, Big Miles, nice. Alright, ada sesuatu nak tambah tentang Miguel versus Miles ni, dengan ideologi battle tu? Ataupun nak go to the next question? Alright, nampaknya we'll go to the next question. Soalan seterusnya adalah untuk Munif ya. Ini for all the comic fans out there. Apakah pendapat anda tentang teori Brazil daripada fandom bahawa The Spot dan Miguel O'Hara ni bukanlah villains sebenar trilogi ini? Sebaliknya, mereka sekadar catur ataupun pawn serving moral editors yang kau boleh tengok dekat overlay sini, yang kat gambar tengah-tengah tu. mereka merupakan multiversal vampires yang dah hidup selama berkurun-kurun kerana menghirup the life force of spider people sampai each of them mati. So are we gonna get that surprise reveal dalam Beyond the Spider-Verse nanti? Apa pendapat kau tentang teori Brazil ni? Silakan.
Itulah. First thing I like to say is that I really hope it's not only that it's not just a teori Brazil, but by right it should be a fact that the inheritors kena involved with this saga. So macam Fik cakap lah, aku ada conversation dengan Fik the other day lepas tengok Spider-Verse about Spot and how we were so surprised that this nobody character, this Z-lister boleh get fleshed out so beautifully. But having said that, as much as aku suka the iteration of the Spot and how he's given the spotlight, pun intended, is that aku still tak faham macam why are we not doing the inheritors? Sebab
Pasal aku rasa hint dia adalah yang bila Miguel cakap he is a ninja vampire, aku macam sejak bila Miguel O'Hara vampire sial dalam komik tak ada pun. So is it a secret inheritor? Apa pendapat kau? Silakan.
Tak tahulah macam, because by now with all the changes that they've done, it's difficult to even speculate what they are going to do tau. Sebab actually since the first movie pun I think Kingpin main with the Hadron Collider kan, okay. Lepas tu final battle lawan Kingpin, the fuck. Dia ni, I mean, as much as I love the first movie, aku punya only nitpick is that this guy is like street level villainy. Kenapa dia duduk dealing dengan some multiversal bullcrap? Macam it's okay. Ni mesti ada sequel, so dia akan tunjuk maybe because the Kingpin cari pasal ripping apart the time-space continuum, maybe that will alert the inheritors pula to the position of an alternate spider and subsequently other spiders. Lepas tu datang the second movie ni, dia okay. Dalam trailer macam nampak the Spot kan. Wait a minute, kenapa macam quite extensive dia tunjuk the Spot ni kan? Are they gonna use this guy as the multiversal punya vehicle kan? Then again, aku terkejut lagi sekali. To my surprise, not only is there no inheritors, he was indeed the main villain, and then cliffhanger and seemingly he's gonna be the big bad in the finale of the trilogy. So lagi aku tak faham macam are we really going in this direction? And so then it just got me thinking lah, what are the merits of replacing the menacing and badass and much beloved Spider-Verse punya villains, which is the inheritors, and digantikan with this Z-lister who not only fine, dia jadi the multiversal punya vehicle in the middle movie, which aku still kind of boleh accept. Tapi aku jadi agak, bagi aku lah, personal opinion, a bit jarring is that it looks like it's even gonna be the big bad in the final movie. So then aku officially tak faham. Unless lah this teori Brazil whatever ni is revealed that boleh jadi ke that maybe the inheritors are the ones who's causing the dia macam precision strike certain universe ni untuk collapse to trigger this chain reaction where someone, and in this case Miguel, end up gathering all the spider totems in one universe. So it's a buffet Ramadan for the inheritors lah. Tak payah susah nak pergi cari ke sesuatu universe kan. So I'm really hoping that's the case. I'm not gonna lie, no matter how good the final movie is gonna be, I'll be let down if we beat the Spot, my not even arch nemesis and nemesis to no one. Kalau korang rasa surface mereka nak adapt Guardians tu, semua orang terkejut because this is a C-listers, this guy is a Z-lister and he's gonna be the final villain in such a beloved trilogy. It's really weird. Dia macam, it's almost as weird as how Marvel Comics decided untuk buat this another Z-lister Op kan, the Op character yang kepala dia mata tu play a starring role in the original sin punya saga, which then led to the Axis punya saga kan. So macam dia ni siapa kan, aku tak kenal. Maksud tiba-tiba dia heavily featured original sin kan. So I'm just really hoping, this is my only nitpick in an otherwise macam perfect two movies lah bagi aku, is that again, aku rasa kau pun macam broken record dah dengar aku cakap, every movie aku bedah, I have villain bias tau. And if it's a comic book movie yang lagi aku very passionate about, then the bias just double tau. So aku just looking for a reason why did you replace the Inheritors with Spot tau. So they have been making good movies so far. So aku can just only assume there must be a really good reason which we will only know in the final movie, or better yet, itulah teori Brazil is revealed that the Inheritors were behind this all along, which aku rasa will be even cooler and has more weight. Pasal the Spot jadi a vehicle with his abilities to travel the multiverse. Kalau kau actually do the Inheritors, you will have characters yang related actually to the creation of the multiverse. Sebab kau cakap say the Great Web, which was the task of the god Myth, which is daughter to Gaia kan, yang untuk create the structure of the multiverse. And then dia ada dia punya totems. The totems ada role dia untuk maintain the multiverse. Ada yang jadi bodyguard, ada jadi gatekeeper, ada yang jadi ini, the bright, the other, the great weaver apa semua. Yang macam the bright tu pula, dia punya tugas lah is untuk lantik a new generation of spider totems pula. So dia akan randomly, tak kisah, dia akan buat dia punya reality bending magic. So either by accident or technology or radioactive spider or apa, someone akan terjadi spider person and will eventually become the next macam spider totem to take over in managing the Great Web kan. And then kau ada Molun ni, dia discover by consuming these guys, kau literally dapat the essence of God daripada Gaia ke Nyth kan. You can live forever. So dia is a more powerful villain, and dia punya backstory explains the multiverse macam a lot nicer tau. So yeah, I just, for accuracy's sake, I really hope they feature somewhat somehow in the final movie. Even if tak pun, I know the movie will still be good. But again, this is my villain bias lah. Tu harap-harap lah. Hopefully lah, whatever they take it back to them. They should be. It's like kau adapt a killing joke, lepas tu tak ada Joker tau. Adapt killing joke, lepas tu Penguin lah dah. Last kali, gelak Batman. Macam what?
Mas speculate bit.
Ya, silakan saya, silakan.
Oh yeah, nampak gaya kan. And this, I just thought of it just now. Ada juga possibility that they build up that the villain is gonna be like Miles Morales as Prowler, and maybe they're gonna fight each other and they're gonna bekerjasama and end up lawan dengan the Spot to fix everything. And I think the Spot is mainly a distraction, meaning that for the story of the chapter of Miles Morales, to me is gonna be like maybe personal dan ada kaitan dengan the Spot. I have a feeling that although this is a two-parter, they didn't like say that this is gonna be the ending of the across the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Verse thing. So with the second movie focus as one lagi sebagai watak utama, who's to say that movie keempat tak wujud, and then movie keempat mungkin watak utama dia lain. Mungkin Peter B. Parker at that point, we don't know. And maybe at that point baru dah akan connectkan the dot kenapa siapa nama ni Miguel O'Hara sangat-sangat determined nak keep everything canon. Maybe dia nak buka jalan untuk the Inheritors masuk. Mungkin they will be like the bigger villains for the fourth movie. And as someone else is going to deal with that, well, I think if I heard, if I'm not mistaken, Sony nak buat juga live action, Miles Morales movie. I hope that they continue the story of this Miles Morales, exactly the same Miles Morales, what he learns from everything, and he deals with his problems, and hopefully Childish Gambino will be the Prowler villain for his movie. As for yang the threat of the Inheritors ni, maybe someone else would like handle the threat. I think that it will be Peter B. Parker for that one. I think he would take the helm to fight against Miguel O'Hara and the Inheritors, and maybe they can connect somehow the dots to even Mobius. How did he know Spider-Man when the entire movie of Mobius there's no Spider-Man? You know, maybe he's also working in a way for the Inheritors. I don't know, like Inheritors adakah Mobius satu faction dengan Inheritors ataupun tak, saya tak tahu. Maybe or maybe not, but the point is, when it comes to like the biggest universe, you don't want an email like in the Dawn of Justice, Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, and then later on you pretend that email doesn't exist. That email, as dumb as it is, with the logo of the superheroes and everything, why is it not canon? You already put that there, just continue the story. Later on, in apa tu cerita Suicide Squad, by the end of it, tiba-tiba Bruce Wayne dapatkan list of the heroes from Amanda Waller, as if like email tak wujud. Kita tak nak benda macam tu berulang, and by that I mean tak kisahlah siapa, tak kisahlah Variant Comics ke, Marvel Comics ke, Dark Horse ke, DC ke, kalau boleh bodoh mana pun something, you keep it canon. And as we can see in this movie, the 5 movies matters. The 5 movies before Tom Holland all matters, right? So why not keep everything, including something as dumb as Mobius summoning Vulture out of nowhere and they want to fight Spider-Man? Yeah, that's just my speculation. This is like I have no comic book backing. I don't know the Inheritors. All I know that the vampires and Molun is one of them. That's it.
Teori Brazil yang menarik, tapi penerbit telah memberitahu bahawa Beyond the Spider-Verse will be the last animated movie in the Spider-Verse series. So pasal tajuk dia Beyond, I think their plan beyond this will be live action. So maybe Miles Morales akan masuk ke live action, and then aku suka teori kau, maybe Inheritors will be in live action. Maybe. Sama kita nantikan. By the way, untuk mereka yang tak baca komik, the fact that Inheritors, kenapa kita bincang-bincang pasal Inheritors ni, pasal dalam crossover pertama mereka, Spider-Verse, diorang memang lawan dengan Morlun dan adik-beradik dia, which is intergalactic vampire yang makan spider ni. So macam mana kau buat Spider-Verse tapi tak ada Morlun? Tak boleh sabar tu, So hopefully they are on the way, sama ada dalam Beyond ataupun maybe dalam live action. We'll see. Alright,
first time buat. Thank you.
Yeah. Alright, so aku dah tanya tiga-tiga panelis kan. So yes, sekarang kita akan ke komen bagi segmen ini. Sang pendosa bertanya, macam mana kalau ada Silk ataupun Madam Web? Aku rasa karakter-karakter tu akan di-savekan oleh Sony untuk live action. Pasal dia dah
Still ada series kan?
Filem Madam Web is tahun depan.
Movie.
Manakala Silk akan menjadi live action TV series yang bakal keluar di Amazon Prime. So watak-watak tu memang dia dah save untuk the live action series and film. So I don't think they will be in Beyond the Spider-Verse, but never say never. Seterusnya Syarul bertanya, SSU live action dah tunggang event dalam No Way Home, adakah SSU nanti akan tunggang event dalam Spider-Verse juga? I think babak The Spot pergi jumpa Miss Chen dalam Venomverse tu dah menunjukkan yang memang SSU ni berkait dengan Spider-Verse.
Dah tunggang dah pun.
So basically The Spot ni menjadi alasan untuk Venom, Morbius semua boleh bergabung dengan Spider-Verse eventually. So it's just a matter of time. Kemudian Azumaki bertanya, Spider-Man 299 tu memang macam ada kuasa vampire ke? Itulah dalam Marvel Comics sejak 1992 lagi, Miguel O'Hara tak pernah ada kuasa vampire ya. Dia hanya ada kuasa spider. Tapi kalau kau tengok overlay kat tepi ni yang bawah sekali tu, kau akan nampak yang Miguel O'Hara adalah mata merah. Dia tak pernah mata merah. Tiba-tiba ada taring pula tu. And satu babak dalam filem tu, sebelum dia berjumpa dengan Miles, dia ada monolog. Dia kata, I used to be like them, the Spider Society, but now I am different. Lepas tu dia kena like injectkan diri dia dengan something untuk macam nak continue hidup sebagai vampire ke apa, aku tak tahu lah. But it's
Saya
weird
nak-
lah.
So dia
Saya nak tambah.
dia bukan
Tahu abang Munif.
Okay. Dia actually macam it's a bit of both lah, sebab dia bukan like an outright vampire, tapi macam the nature of his mutation lah, so to speak. Dia ada, I think if you have to say, it's more of a were arachnid or something macam tu lah.
Yes.
So dia ada that macam poison bite lah apalah, so mutation dia you could say lagi severe daripada Peter. So dia like on the edge of monstrosity lah macam tu, but
Betul.
not a vampire in a traditional sense lah. Tu lah.
Satu lagi nak tambah, dia Miguel ni tak silap dia ada ni photo sensitivity, which macam nak replicate yang vampire tak boleh kena matahari. So ramai yang cakap yang dia ni macam vampire lah. And mungkin apa yang dia cocok dekat bahu dia tu some kind of macam rapture kan, yang dalam komik asal. Sebab Miguel dia bukan kena gigit laba-laba kan, dia genetic mutation Peter Parker kan, spider tu kan. So yeah.
Spider.
Yes, actually itu satu poin yang menarik ya. Miguel dan kawan-kawan baik dia dalam Spider Society semuanya tak pernah kena gigit dengan laba-laba. Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 999, Spider-Woman yang kulit hitam afro tu, and even Ben Reilly is a clone of Peter Parker.
Yes.
So
Clone
Yeah, and like Spider-Woman was like Kree punya teknologi punya experimentation. So kenapa diorang semua tak pernah gigit spider tapi diorang kawan baik? Adakah kerana diorang sebenarnya inheritors dan kerja diorang ialah kumpul semua ramai-ramai dekat 2099.
Buffet Ramadan.
Buffet Ramadan, Morlun turun padang. So ada beberapa itulah clue-clue yang buat fans macam what the fuck, macam ni tak ada dalam komik kot. So we don't know. Sai nak tambah apa-apa?
Tadi ada spekulasi lagi satu. Remember like in Endgame, right? Kan before that in Infinity War, you know, you should aim for the hat. And then betul Thor didn't kan. And then in Endgame, in the early minutes, dia dah kalahkan, you know, Thanos. Could be the possibility because they set up yang Miles nak selamatkan bapak dia so much. Could be macam movie tu akan handle the spot he says peachy son as he's in the comic. And it's like again, I think it's a big distraction. Maybe the real villains are the inheritors all along. Like if they say this is the last movie, why not go with a bang? And I don't read the comics, I don't know much about the inheritors, and I think now based on what I hear, it makes a lot of sense that they would be the main villains, not really the Spot. Although I do enjoy the Spot in this one, I'm glad that he's brought up from a Z-lister to like at least A-lister in this one.
Definitely man, definitely. Aku suka teori distraction tu. Alright, so kita ada 4 lagi soalan. Amar Ashraf bertanya daripada Facebook. Just nak tanya, betul ke yang newspaper cutting pasal Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Daisy tu ada dalam movie? Ke diorang edit je tu? Aku tak ingat. Aku dah tengok filem ni 2 kali, aku tak ingat. Anybody nak jawab? Ataupun korang nak korek ke? Dia ni tipu ke, betul ke? Channel yang palatau ke apa?
Saya ada tengok 2 kali kak, but tak perasan lah benda ni until this teori pop up dekat TikTok. And dia nampak macam tak edited ataupun macam a glimpse of hint apa yang akan datang nanti. Ya, tapi for sure kita tak tahu 100% if this thing adalah true or not. Ya.
Itulah.
Gambar dia pun blur aku rasa yang ditunjuk kan. Dia macam tak nampak jelas. Sebab dia very zoom in sampai macam pecah. So, tak tahu macam bila aku tengok could be anything. Dia just silhouette macam tu kan. It seems like it could be anything to me. Saya tak tahu lah. You see what you want to see lah sekali.
Yeah,
saya pun tak 2 kali. Lagi satu dekat IMAX, tak nampak pun benda tu. So I don't know. Is it even there?
Aku pun suka yang ada TikTok aku rasa minggu lepas bahawa ada 2 versi macam misteri Delilah Ada 2 versi Spider-Verse. Kejap yang Laila buat lawak macam tu, kejap yang Laila buat selfie. Aku macam why?
Oh lah, multiverse.
Nak kena tengok lagi banyak kali ke nak dapat the correct scene tu?
Dia punya movie file dia pun ada variant tau.
Alright. Alright, seterusnya Ismail bertanya, dalam Homecoming Mamat Childish Gambino tu kan ada cakap yang dia ada anak saudara dekat situ. Adakah dia nak hint pasal Miles Morales? Jawapannya ya. Anak saudara dia adalah Miles Morales.
Ya.
Adakah MCU akan introduce Miles Morales dalam MCU? Tajuk seterusnya adalah Beyond the Spider-Verse. Jadi Beyond SSU adalah MCU kan? So sama-sama kita nantikan. Sama-sama kita nantikan. Alright, second last question, Dominic Tan. Kenapa Miguel O'Hara tak canonkan semula universe Spider-Man Tom Holland? I think he did by offhandedly saying, kau jangan cerita pasal Pukimak Doctor Strange dan budak daripada Earth 1999.
It is canon.
That's saying that Miguel O'Hara knows MCU exists dan dia benci Tom Holland. So that's their only canon scene aku rasa. I think there's a second one tapi aku tak ingat. Cuma kita tak visually nampak Tom Holland. Kita nampak Andrew Garfield, kita nampak Tobey. So maybe dalam Beyond, maybe. Dan final question untuk segmen ini. Suit Miguel ni nanotech kan? Kan ada second alternate suit kan? Warna putih tak silap aku. Siapa nak jawab? Fik? Silakan.
Warna putih.
Dia Miguel ada dua suit. Yang warna putih satu yang this one lah. Tapi probably
putih merah.
Putih merah, yes. Yang putih merah tu lagi ramai suka tengok Spider-Man 2099 pakai suit tu lah. But I'm not sure is it dia pakai nanotech in this film ataupun tak.
Itulah, kita tak sure. But hopefully kita nampak dia punya second suit nanti dalam Beyond. Seterusnya Faizi bertanya soalan teknikal. Kenapa dalam No Way Home dia orang tak glitch? Maybe aku rasa segmen seterusnya ni akan explain about it ataupun kita akan bincangkan ataupun kupaskan lah. Seterusnya Ismail bertanya, adakah Layla itu salah seorang inheritor? Satu teori Brazil yang menarik. Tapi aku rasa dalam komik tak, it's always been AI dia, macam mana Iron Man pun ada Girl Friday ataupun yang sentiasa menolong dia in the battlefield. Macam tu lah. Right, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke like kita yang ketiga. Alright, so segmen ini segmen paling teknikal tu masa aku macam pening diri sendiri tentang soalan budak-budak ni. So kalau kau tengok overlay tu, itu adalah satu, aku rasa dia viral minggu lepas, bagaimana mungkin MCU dan SSU ni berkait dan adakah Spider Society punca incursions yang akan membawa kepada Avengers Secret Wars. So berdasarkan siri TV dan filem MCU serta SSU setakat ini, kita pelajari 1, 2, 3, 4 benda ataupun 4 fakta. Pertama adalah secret timeline adalah sejumlah kolektif reality ataupun universe yang telah disusun oleh He Who Remains untuk menghentikan kewujudan Kang the Conqueror. Ia tidak bersentuh, so there is no incursions bagi mengelakkan pertembungan multiversal war. Fakta kedua, Nexus event is an event that diverges from the secret timeline and creates a new reality. Contohnya masa Loki dalam season 1 tu, dia curi and then dia menyebabkan a new timeline. Ketiga, absolute point is an event that cannot and must not be altered because doing so will affect history too significantly, usually for the worse. Kau nampak tu dalam siri What If, di mana Doctor Strange tu asyik nak hidupkan Christine Palmer sampai dunia dia hancur. And I think kita nampak juga dalam apa Miguel O'Hara cuba buat sampai anak dia pun hilang, dunia tu pun hancur. Which brings us to fakta keempat Canon events are the main events which forms the backstory of all Spider people. So kita ada 3 fakta daripada MCU, 1 fakta daripada SSU. Jadi teori Brazil time, sekiranya absolute point daripada MCU bersamaan dengan canon event daripada SSU, maka Nexus event daripada MCU bersamaan dengan Miles Morales cuba menyelamatkan bapanya di Earth 1610 di SSU. Therefore, incursion yang kita belajar daripada filem Doctor Strange The Multiverse of Madness bersamaan dengan The Spider Society cuba menyelamatkan Mountbatten di Earth 50101. So kehadiran orang daripada dimensi lain tu menyebabkan realiti tu akan hancur, dan kalau kau duduk situ lama-lama akan hancur terus. So soalan pertama adalah untuk Fik, pada pendapat anda, adakah kehadiran The Spider Society di dunia 2099, Mountbatten, dunia Spider-Gwen dan juga dunia Miles Morales merupakan satu anomaly dan sebenarnya punca incursion semula berlaku di SSU yang kita nampak sejak Into the Spider-Verse dan juga Across the Spider-Verse? Silakan.
Okay, first thing first, pujian kepada creative team sebab dia bawakan satu lagi benda yang kita nak kena belajar about fizik kan, pasal canon event. And I like how Miguel, dia pada mulanya dia tunjuk the sacred timeline dia branching kan, tapi instead of dia menceritakan tentang sacred timeline, dia tunjuk web of life, which mean canon event is the phrase ataupun term yang kita guna pakai only applicable dekat Spider-Man sahaja. Benda tu yang kita kena belajar lah. And maksud dekat sini, canon event itself satu teori yang diorang bawa ke dalam filem ni. Sebab kita tahu multiverse is only a teori lah. Multiverse kita tak ada hukum. Kalau macam hukum Newton, hukum Boyle, hukum ni is something yang memang orang dah kaji, orang dah keluarkan macam mana kita nak ukur something like this kan. Tapi multiverse is something yang orang tak boleh nak explore. So I really puji sesiapa yang bawakan canon event ke dalam filem ni lah. And kita cakap lagi pasal punca incursion ni. The matter fact yang kita tahu, kita tak boleh nak blame on Spider Society, Wanda create macam House of M dalam WandaVision, Doctor Strange dia pergi ke Dark Dimension, lepas tu anything yang related to the multiverse kita tak boleh nak blame on one. Sebab kita tahu He Who Remains, dia cakap the end of the sacred timeline tu adalah Citadel yang dia duduk tu, which mean tempat yang dijaga. Sekarang ni event Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, this Spider-Verse happen ni, memang time dah branch dah pun. Time dah berpecah belah. So kita tak tahu siapakah the main punca yang start all of this thing. Tu first. Lepas tu kalau kita nak cakap pasal Spider-Verse lagi, Spider-Verse is a part of multiverse. Spider-Verse adalah same as. So that's why event play a significant role lah dalam cerita ni, yang nak menunjukkan the civil war di antara Spider-Man 2019 dengan Miles Morales lah. Miguel dia macam ada kata yang distinct. Semua Spider-Man perlu follow the canon event on how you should become Spider-Man kan. Lepas tu, okay, dia macam balik kepada abang ni kata tadi kan. Macam, okay, Miguel tak kena gigit. Lepas tu Spider-Bite tak kena gigit. But at the end of the day, diorang semua jadi some kind of Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. So kenapa diorang tak blame these people? Kenapa dia blame on Miles Morales saja? It's just not fair. Tapi kita sembang pasal anomaly tu dekat point yang seterusnya. But for sure, incursion did happen dalam universe Miguel O'Hara, sebab Miguel dia ingin menggantikan a version of him yang mati dan meninggalkan keluarganya. So dia ni nak cakap dia tak ada responsibility, tak adalah sampai tak. Dia sense of dia ada keluarga. Tapi the matter fact, Miguel O'Hara dia punya canon event tak sepatutnya ada keluarga. Something like that. Yeah.
Alright. Ada sesuatu lagi nak tambah kepada point ni sebelum I go to the next question? Alright. Soalan kedua Soalan kedua adalah untuk saya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Miguel O'Hara base his whole reason untuk membina Spider Society ni to save the multiverse is actually flawed, kerana it is based on only one isolated incident, peristiwa dia sendiri, di mana dia pergi kepada future yang dia ada family, Spider-Man tu Nana cerita tak mati, eventually happiness dia tu hancur, and dia ingat semua orang pun akan hancur macam tu. So kenapa ia tak scientifically proven dengan a larger data set of beribu-ribu hidup Spider people di dunia mereka sendiri? I mean, dia dah boleh contact diorang kot, dia boleh tanya peristiwa diorang, what they went through. So apa pendapat kau, saya silakan. Sekejap. I think you're on mute. Sekejap, you're on mute. So aku unmute kau.
Right. Daripada aku sana. Aku tak nak ulang balik tadi. Yang dari segi etika, segi ethics memang totally Miguel O'Hara macam tak make sense kan. Tapi dari segi scientific, it's not that it is proven yang dia punya dia punya what he's trying to do scientifically is making sense. But what makes sense so far is bila dia dah kumpulkan semua Spider-Man ni so far dekat Nueva York, headquarters, just that things that surround them, macam insiden Mumbatan for example, itu je yang ada kind of like fracture. Tapi dari segi yang dekat dalam Nueva York tu semua okay. So even though it's not scientifically proven, scientifically speaking, if something supposed to go wrong, would have been gone wrong by now. Dari segi Miguel O'Hara like trying to fix this in the sense that what was the question again, like
Incursion.
wait.
Oh.
Incursion tu jenis, sorry. Kurang faham sikit incursion.
Incursion ni
Incursion
dia
tu macam kalau silakan Fit.
macam word collide. Dia akan hancurkan
okay.
timeline lah, something like that.
Ya, bila lagi lama kau dekat reality lain tu, lagi hancur
okay.
reality dalam Multiverse of Madness ya.
Mungkin Miguel O'Hara ni dia just patch things up. Sebab now we kind of know that one way or another he have some kind of vampiric nature. So dia mungkin dah hidup lama and he's seen failures before. Maybe there are other spider society yang mungkin in a smaller form in some time ago that maybe they failed, and he did not discuss and he keep creating new ones until he finds this one which is the most stable. It's like balloon apa tu, yang balloon kan, apa dia call thing, hot air balloon kan, kalau bocor dia patch it up. Maybe from what we can see, insiden Mumbatan tu other than Spider-Man selamatkan dia, and then because of that the inspector survive and that becomes like sebab tu jadi benda tu tak canon, dan sebab tu dunia tu glitch kan, in of itself kan, it's imploding kan. Tapi that doesn't make sense because as we know the spot appearing in Venom and then Venom appearing in No Way Home already connects everything to Tom Holland punya, and as we see Tom Holland punya yang mati bukan Uncle Ben kan, orang lain kan, Aunt May yang mati. So in of itself, like when you look at these different situations, who's to say that this is the one that is going to like be out of canon? So far maybe yang cakap canon tak canon ni, yang utuskan semua hanyalah Miguel O'Hara. So I think right now dia just I think I believe in the fact that he's just patching things up as he goes along. So scientifically speaking, this is the most stable one, the Spider Society yang ada apa tu, like all these people, like like this one and the one that we see in Nueva York. But I think he's just like trying to keep it alive while he knows at the back of his mind there are failures before that is destroyed, that this is not telling other people. That's all I can say because I don't know much more about that. This is just speculation.
Gila tu teori Brazil kau, the fact that maybe Miguel ni dah ada berpuluh Spider Society dalam multiverse yang lain. Wih, cibai tu, dia memang cibai kalau betul dia. Alright, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ni adalah untuk Munif ya. Apakah pendapat anda sekiranya trilogi Spider-Verse ini akhirnya akan pay off di dalam filem Avengers Secret Wars 2027 nanti, di mana SSU dan MCU akan bertembung menyebabkan sebuah incursion tahap kapan? So, silakan.
Okay, before aku jump into kenapa aku rasa these two universe definitely akan collide, which means the Spider-Verse and the SSU ni will definitely pour into the MCU, ada beberapa reasons. Tapi aku pun just nak sentuh sikit pasal tu lah some of the fundamental punya knowledge pasal this whole multiverse saga. So kita macam dah talk a bit quite extensively tadi. The points yang aku akan nak buat ni, bear in mind, is assuming yang memang confirm MCU, SSU and the Spider-Verse ni will be in the same universe, okay? So they are bound to lebih kurang the same rules lah. So here's the lowdown daripada aku punya perspektif. Nexus events, no debates. Memang it's an event yang actually create branching punya worlds, branching punya universe, sebab dia jadi anomaly at that point in time. And aku punya take about absolute point dengan canon event ni, they're actually the same thing. They are the same thing, it's just that discovered by different people. On Doctor Strange punya side, based on dia punya studies of the mystic art semua, dia pun name the shit that needs to happen as absolute point in time. Whereas untuk O'Hara pula, dia kata ada something, dia tengok, by studying all the spider people, they found out there are repeating punya things. And when this repeating things ni kita stop in one universe, a collapse will happen. So dia panggil canon event. But if you look at it, it's actually the same thing with absolute point. Cuma different terminologies. Here's the crazy thing though. Kalau kita cakap pasal incursions kan, okay, incursions dalam komik, cara dia jadi tu is completely different lah. You have to talk about the Beyonders, you have to talk about Molecule Man apa semua. So that's its own thing. Aku rasa they won't go down that route lah. So the few explanations or mention yang kita dapat pasal incursions datang exclusively from the MCU. Tak ada lagi in the Spider-Verse. So in the MCU, berbeza dengan comics version, how the incursions happen is because bila kau banyak sangat travel between parallel worlds or alternate dimensions, kau create a tear in the fabric of space-time, and bila ada the fabric of space-time tu membentuk the boundaries between different worlds. So when this boundary tu collapse, sebab dia dah macam bayang kau punya dinding tu dah kena tebuk banyak kali sampai dinding tu roboh, then these two worlds yang asalnya separated by space-time akan collapse into each other. So tu yang jadi incursion. So, and we know dalam movie Multiverse of Madness that Doctor Strange demi nak capai kemenangan, dia abuse the multiversal travel tu. Dia dapat macam bunuh Thanos semua, but dia at what cost? So dia create dia menyebabkan incursion dekat dunia dia jadi kan. Here's the ironic thing though. What Miguel is trying to prevent sebab is not an incursion, but is the collapse of a localized universe. So in the concept of multiverse, there are two types of damage. The first damage yang aku explain tadi, incursion, dua dunia collide. The second damage is localized, limited to only that one universe, which we have seen akibat dia in What If. With Doctor Strange punya universe, so dia tak jadi incursion and dia tak tarik any other universe. Dia punya own universe so collapse in on itself. So and even Miguel pun tunjuk masa universe yang dia inhabit tu collapse, it was just that universe. Dia tak kacau the Great Web pun. Dia tak kacau, dia tak berlanggar between different universes. So what he's trying to stop sebenarnya is the collapse of the localized universe, bukan incursions. And here's the thing, here's the scary thing. Basically, Miguel doesn't know about incursion. They're just thinking small, thinking about local, preventing a local dimension to collapse on itself. But what is he doing in response? Dia tahu pasal the damage that will happen because of if you break the canon event or absolute point, tapi dia tak tahu about incursion, so what cause incursion. So his solution untuk stop the localized punya collapse is to panggil all the spider people datang dunia dia, which is actually will eventually cause an incursion on his world. So aku rasa back to my question on pendapat aku, benda ni akan connect dengan MCU ke tak, aku rasa this is what cause the incursion nanti akan terlanggar dengan the MCU punya universe. because Miguel is so hung up to stop the collapse of individual universe by gathering all the spider people, and then kerah pula dia orang creating this device, kerah dia orang pergi to different multiverses pula. You are creating the breach that the Illuminati dalam Multiverse of Madness was talking about. So dia unwittingly akan cause an incursion with the MCU. That's where the penggabungan tu akan terjadi lah, which will be the center conflict of the Secret Wars. So yang tu from a narrative punya standpoint lah. On other reasons kenapa aku rasa this merger will definitely happen juga, is because dalam movie Across the Spider-Verse ni dah already mention Doctor Strange and Tom Holland. So you can't say like they're separated anymore. This literally already answers the question. They are canon to each other. Yang tu satu. Secondly, the timing of the movie is kind of aligned now. Sebab kalau ikut the initial plan, it's like 2027 baru nak start Secret Wars. And then, sebab tu aku rasa there's the shift in the in the Beyond the Spider-Verse punya timeline tu. Aku rasa just nak bagi dia keluar just before the Secret Wars. So what happens in the final movie of this trilogy Spider-Verse ni will directly lead to the Secret Wars. So the timeline pun looks like it makes sense. The other factor pula is logistics. This is more of a approach yang aku panggil if not then what. Okay, so andai kata ada yang tak percaya dengan teori ni, which the SSU and the Spider-Verse and MCU akan combine, we know the MCU is going to do Secret Wars anyways. If not this way, then what? Are they gonna, depa pula nak buat depa punya own Miles Morales ni movie? Miles Morales is central to the Secret Wars. He's the face of the Ultimate Universe, which is the counter world yang akan berlanggar dengan 616. So, takkan dia nak buat dia punya own? Takkan dia tiba-tiba nak start shooting buat dia punya own Ultimate Universe apa semua? Or does it make more sense they just combine dengan this other multiverse yang memang dah ada at Sony to create that incursion point yang can lead to Secret Wars? So it just makes more sense. Dah lah memang they are in a state of kerjasama dah pun with Tom Holland punya Spider-Man kan. So it looks like it's a no-brainer lah. And here's the kicker, the other final big reason kenapa aku yakin yang MCU, SSU and Spider-Verse akan combine is because of the lack of inheritors. Aku start rasa the inheritors will truly not be even in the final movie. Kenapa? Sebab macam aku cerita tadi lah, kalau ada inheritors, dia akan datang sekali with the whole lore about spider totems, the great web, dengan the great weaver, depa punya own mode of travel between multiverses, benda semua kan. If you are already confused dengan MCU punya concept of the multiverse, pasal ni Nexus event lah, Kang ni pula kenapa what's incursions lah, incursions ada sebut lah, itu kau dah pening. Tiba-tiba nak merge pula dengan lore yang daripada the spider side punya concept of the multiverse, it's gonna be a bit too much. It's gonna be a bit too much. So aku rasa why Molon and the Inheritors tak ada, because when the incursion happens, mereka akan guna the MCU punya science of the multiverse to explain what's going on. Aku rasa. So this, based on this evidence, tak adanya Molon and the Inheritors, Miles Morales is key in the comics. The timeline of the movie is kind of aligned, and it's already Doctor Strange sekali, jangan kata Tom Holland, even Doctor Strange sekali dah disebut dekat dalam Across the Spider-Verse. This is more than enough evidence to show yang dia definitely akan bergabung, and the incursion memang akan jadi, I believe, because Miguel punya salah faham ni. Dia just nak stop individual universes from collapsing by gathering and distributing all the spider people across the multiverse. Dia jadi benda yang the Illuminati was warning Doctor Strange about. That criss-crossing tu will lead to the incursion. So sebenarnya aku rasa this is how everything will fit. And before aku end aku punya argument for this, just nak tambah pasal ni lah, Miguel again lah. He's also my favorite spider in the movie. But what he did here is memang driven more by emotion lah. But the logic is completely flawed lah. Tahu pasal apa? Sebab why is he so, orang kata hubris lah, yang diingat only spider people will form the canon events. Only spider people will be related to the absolute point. There are so many other people in the universe or in the multiverse. It could be like your roti canai seller in another continent tu, kalau dia tak end up jadi penjual roti canai, might be breaking a canon event. So random guy could be tied to a canon event. And why does he think this is exclusively for spider people? Especially when he knows there are beings macam Doctor Strange apa semua out there wujud yang memang can mess with time juga on their own accord, with magic somemore tau, unexplained signs, something yang dia sendiri tak boleh grasp, and yet they're so confident kalau aku control the spider people saja, that be enough. Padahal orang lain could just easily break their own canon events kan. So his logic is very flawed, and not only that, benda yang dia duk buat ni by MCU punya definition will cause an incursion. So itulah.
Aku suka. By the way, kita punya comment thread sekarang tengah kena incursion dengan hacker. Itulah spam bot lah, apa kebutuh lah. So aku tak dapat membaca 5 komen menarik pasal aku kena lawan spam bot je sekarang. So I'm sorry guys, aku takut kalau aku tukar tab, nanti beratus-ratus spam bot akan masuk. So nanti aku akan bacakan hopefully dalam segmen-segmen seterusnya di mana kita tak kena incursion dengan spam bot. Sorry guys. So alright, so dengan itu kita akan ke kita punya segmen like kita yang keempat. So segmen kita yang seterusnya adalah tentang plot twist pertama, iaitu Anomaly. So untuk segmen ni aku ada 3 soalan juga. Soalan pertama adalah untuk Fik ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang plot twist pertama Across the Spider-Verse, di mana Miles Morales telah dituduh oleh Miguel O'Hara sebagai the first and the biggest anomaly di SSU kerana kewujudannya melanggar hukum alam multiverse. Miles daripada Earth 1610 was never meant to be bitten by spider from Earth 42. So silakan. Aku main blown tu. Masa sini aku macam what the fuck.
Yes.
So silakan.
Sumpah moment tu sangat-sangat unexpected lah. But even though I like Spider-Man 2009, tapi again kat sini dia salah lagi lah. The thing is tentang Anomaly, original Anomaly, and kita tahu Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, dia punya, if I'm not mistaken lah, dia punya startup kepada Spider-Verse ni adalah The Collider tu sendiri. The Collider, okay. So Miles, dia tak tahu apa-apa, and then dia masukkan diri di dalam Spider Society, and Miguel out of nowhere terus blame dekat dia, kau ni punca everything yang buruk berlaku dalam Spider Society. Mamat ni tak tahu apa-apa pun sebuah benda ni, tapi Miguel put a blame on him over and over again. Tapi dia macam datang ke question lah, datang ke persoalan dalam kepala kita, macam kenapa Miguel nak tuduh Miles, sedangkan kalau katakan The Collider tu yang start the Spider-Verse, and then kalau kita ingat dekat credit scene tu, Miguel is the first yang akan jump to the Spider-Verse tau. Dia yang first pergi ke Earth 67 tak silap, yang mula-mulanya Spider-Man dicipta tu kan. Which mean dekat sini dia dah pergi travel, dia pergi collect every Spider-Man daripada universe lain, munculkan dekat Nueva York. Okay, dan dia ada satu ayat tau yang dia cakap, I'm Miguel O'Hara, a multiverse team, elite squad, something like that lah. Tapi cerita tu dipotong daripada Spider-Gwen, which I believe, ni daripada personal teori Brazil saya je lah, I believe cerita tentang Miguel O'Hara is unfinished dalam Across the Spider-Verse, sebab ada benda yang belum diceritakan yang akan bawakan ke dalam Beyond the Spider-Verse. So by the time dia try to blame Miles Morales, Miguel ni dia ada 2 benda tau yang dia tak suka dengan Miles. Satu, the matter fact is dia digigit oleh spider yang bukan daripada universe dia, iaitu spider Earth 42. Lepas tu dia ni tak nak face the fact of fate ataupun kita dalam dunia betul kita panggil kodok dan koda kan, kita panggil macam tu kan. Dia tak nak face benda tu. So masa mulanya bila Mice tak masuk dalam Spider Society, dia punya argument pertama dia cakap dia ni macam tak layak untuk masuk Spider Society. Satu, sebab dia tak nak face the fact of truth, fate. Kedua, dia tak nak face the fact yang bapa dia akan mati nanti. So I think it's a criminal. Sedangkan Mice hanyalah menjalankan kehidupan dia yang biasa saja. Dia suka spray dekat dinding, dia suka belajar fizik dan sebagainya. Tapi at some point yang dia ikut dia punya Uncle Aaron tu pergi ke basement dekat tempat dengan apa nama tempat tu, tak ingat lah, yang Kingpin buat collider tu semua. Tiba-tibanya Spider 42 ada dekat situ and menggigit Mice. Okay, dan adakah benda tu salah? Mice? Sedangkan Spider tu yang memilih, yang membuat dia punya jalan cerita untuk pergi ke basement tu dan menggigit Mice. So is it original Anomaly tu adalah Miles Morales atau Jonathan On yang buat semua benda ni? So kalau daripada perspektif saya, if you want to blame, kalau nak blame original Anomaly, it should be Jonathan On the spot. Yang mana Jonathan On ni dia kata Miles Morales is a problem, yang membuatkan dia yang jadi the spot, dan juga all the problem and chaotic thing dekat Spider-Verse ni is Jonathan On. Sebab kita kena ingat dekat Mumbattan, bila the spot reach dia punya potential, dia punya aim, dia punya purpose adalah untuk pergi ke setiap universe and pergi ke collider, which mean collider exists. Collider wujud dekat universe yang lain, tapi semuanya dihentikan oleh Spider-Man. So the spot tak wujud dari situ. Tapi dekat Earth 1610, Jonathan On telah buat satu keputusan dalam hidupnya yang telah merosakkan segalanya, which membawa satu Spider 42 ke Earth 1610. So original Anomaly daripada perspektif saya is not Miles Morales, tapi it could be Jonathan On. That's why Jonathan On the spot a great main villain untuk Across the Spider-Verse dan bakal Beyond the Spider-Verse lah. So yeah, sorry Miguel, but I'm not your team lah, sorry.
Yeah, aku suka kau punya penjelasan. Alright, soalan kedua adalah untuk saya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang watak Margot Cass, aka Spider-Bite, menjadi one of the first Spider People yang rela menolong Miles Morales by sending him home? Adakah ini satu kes persefahaman antara black people yang akan sentiasa menolong other black people in need daripada terus ditindas oleh the man ataupun institution? So, silakan.
Aku rasa tak. Sebab aku tak tahu banyak, tapi aku dengar cerita macam yang Silk tu, there's a character called Silk, right? Dia kalau dia jumpa Peter Parker, dia have some kind of like sexual tension, right? So maybe this is for Miles. Macam Margot Cass tak tahu kenapa, Miles tak tahu kenapa, but they keep some kind of connection. Sebab kita boleh tengok Miles mostly infatuated dan sangat taksub dengan Gwen Stacy kan. Tapi the moment dia nampak Margot Cass, dia jadi infatuated towards Margot Cass pula, to the point that even Gwen Stacy pun jealous kejap kan, macam like, oi kau pandang sini, kau jangan pandang situ, you know what I mean? That was kind of cute, kind of funny, but I don't think it's black power or anything like that. But I think it's more juga beyond this, the sexual tension, maybe juga sebab these Spider People, all of them are heroes, right? So sometimes you have the feeling that this is the right thing to do. It may not be the right thing in terms of whether or not it saves the canon, whether or not it saves all many people instead of just one or two persons, right? Tapi dalam masa sama, kadang-kadang kita akan rasa macam inilah benda yang paling patut aku buat daripada paling moral aku patut buat. Sama juga macam contoh macam Doctor Strange punya, dia buat hal 2-3 kali kan, dia masa lawan Dormammu, dia kata dia ulang-ulang dia annoy Dormammu, and then next time dia pergi, dia tengok beribu-ribu outcome. Saya rasa terbaik ialah dia bagi Thanos, the gemstone, the what do you call that thing? Sorry, what do you call that thing? The Infinity Stone, right? Tapi because of that, a bunch of people died, and then the Vision died, and then because of that kind of hurts people's feelings, including Wanda, Scarlet Witch and all that. So kita tak tahu at the time what we're supposed to do, whether it is the right thing or not, but sometimes we just feel it. So in terms of Margot Cass tolong Mas Morales, I think it's just pure feeling and nothing else.
Tapi betul lah, babak dia orang macam first time jumpa tu pun macam kau pandang lama-lama dia faham tu. Macam dia orang macam they can't help themselves, man. They can't help themselves. Alright, soalan ketiga adalah untuk Munif ya. Sebagai seorang kaki komik, apakah pendapat anda tentang pihak produksi Across the Spider-Verse going off course dengan adaptasi ini, di mana Miles Morales digigit oleh seekor spider from another reality yang lain terus menerus daripada versi Ultimate Universe di Marvel Comics. Were you okay with it? Ataupun kau macam sebab ni aku suka filem ni, so silakan.
Okay, for me lah, aku tahu aku ni kerana jenis purist sikit tau. So kalau macam dia lain pada komik kan, aku kan, lebih kita burden by knowledge, burden by context. So kita baca, lepas tu kita dah datang with a set of expectations. Lepas tu bila benda tu lain, aku kacam tapi at the same time, sebab understanding yang the filmmaking process is completely different than writing a comic book. Kan kau cakap pasal satu melibat karakter, satu tak melibat karakter, time frame pun dah completely berbeza lah apa semua kan. So I understand that there's leeway lah, and with that aku kan tengok lah, fine, dia tak boleh carbon copy, understood, but then the changes, are they for the better or do they actually make things worse? That's my next question lah. So I'm glad to say that the changes they made dalam Spider-Verse apart from the fact yang aku still je tak boleh belah, tak ada di Inheritors, but apart from that, everything else I'm quite okay with lah sebenarnya. And this particular change bagi aku is narratively and creatively very very good. Sebab how many Spider-Man movies we have so far, or how many superhero movies we have so far, period. And daripada MCU alone dah half a century of content lah dia dah keluar kan, tak campur yang lain-lain lagi. So I like that while every superhero dia akan selalu cakap pasal destiny kan, macam at the other day dia akan go through some kind of external hurdle, tapi internally they're always meant to be Iron Man, they're always meant to be Batman. You born into the royal family to be Aquaman lah benda semua kan. So aku suka the fact yang suddenly the thing that kononnya defines you, suddenly it wasn't meant for you all along. So were you supposed to just be a nobody? So bagi aku this is very interesting because number one memang lain from the other Destiny team punya superhero punya stories. The other thing pula is that it also in return gives Miles the opportunity to actually one of the few superheroes that actually earn dia punya title or place as Spider-Man. Sebab not only is that a cool concept, tunjuk dia is not born into it, he has to work for it, but also at the same time aku rasa benda ni actually dia pun addressing some real life punya issues jugalah, so to speak. Masa Miles Morales was first announced dulu, it was of course met with backlash sebab semua macam dia not my Spider-Man pergi mampus kan. Tu orang ingat macam ni nak ganti Peter Parker lah benda semua kan. So even when it's revealed it's actually this an Ultimate Universe punya Spider-Man, so we're not replacing Peter Parker kan. But still ada macam tak, this is still alasan padahal it's a blackwash with Spider-Man now. So the haters were still there lah obviously. But here's the thing, walaupun Miles have proven so far yang dia boleh stand on its own 2 feet, dia punya own stories, dia punya own power set, ada dia punya own video game pun meletup benda semua kan. Even though dia established dia boleh jadi his own person, tapi dia pun nak hammer it down dalam movie ni lagi, okay fine. If you feel like dia tak earn jadi Spider-Man, then this is reflecting real life lah. So tunjuk he was never meant to be Spider-Man in the first place, but because you know these minorities are not subject to any entitlement, they'll do what they do best lah. They work their ass to get it juga. So aku rasa in the third movie they can tunjuk what it actually means to be Spider-Man, and that the titles and the costumes are just academic. At the end of the day, you the person, powers or not, mask or not, what you do is what makes you Spider-Man. So it's macam very good writing lah bagiku. They address that, you know, yang the fans pun akan suka, the haters pun akan, you know, yang bukan betul-betul tegar lah akan terdiam juga, and we'll have no choice but to accept Miles Morales as his own Spider-Man, as a Spider-Man. So kita boleh nampak, and that's also reflected internally in the movie juga. Macam you know, you have your Spider-Man club, but then like I'm not invited. Padahal kau ada macam kucing pun boleh masuk kot. Aku ni pun macam susah nak accept aku pun a black guy as a Spider-Man lah. Yang kucing lah benda semua pun ada kan. And yeah, again, social commentary. But this is social commentary done right lah. It's not obnoxious. It's not shoved into your face. It's not preachy. It's very natural. It's sci-fi. It's fun. It's entertaining. And the character is lovable. So this is a, orang kata, social commentary in the movie done right. That ni pun reflect the fact yang, you know, black communities dalam US dulu pun, masa dia pun jadi slave, kau just angkat barang, cotton picking, that's the limit of your thing kan. Jangan kau nak naik bas, jangan duduk sebelah orang putih, jangan berdiri bus stand sama orang putih, pergi sekolah sekali pun tak boleh, separate school semua. So you can clearly see this is a reflection of that. So they can touch the heartstrings of the people of colored community, betul. Tapi you know, but dia bagi a sci-fi punya reason. Oh, this spider yang gigit kau tu was a spider from a different multiverse. So walaupun orang yang terkesan with that oppressive history akan pull at the heartstrings, tapi us casuals yang tak ada stake in that thing pun takkan rasa benda ni being preached and shoved to us because the reasoning is sci-fi. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that aku yang selalunya tak suka changes, not only accept this change, but has to admit that the change is actually so good on so many levels, on spreading the message and tak hilang entertainment value dia. So it's just what more I can say apart from kudos. It's not always you make a change that I'm okay with.
And also like the chosen one trope in that permeates every like, well, I'm sick of the chosen one. I don't even want to play like another, you know, fantasy game. I'm the chosen one. I don't care if I'm the chosen one. Then what's the point of me doing what I'm doing? It's like I have my own free will. Let me choose to be something. And if I become like a villain, so be it. Better than the chosen one.
Yeah. Which I
aku nak tambah
itu dia jadi villain anyway. So it's kind of yeah. Silakan Sylvia.
I like that one more thing lah about that itu. Aku lupa cakap, saya relatability tau. Tak betul kalau in other macam superhero tropes kau tengok, wah, aku lah boleh bertukar je Ultraman, aku boleh terbang, aku boleh tumbuk gunung sampai meletup, mata aku ada laser apa semua, aku boleh tembak elektrik kat tangan. I don't want all this. I want to be normal. Macam no one can relate to that bullshit. Tapi Miles Morales I want to be superhero. I want to join superhero team. Macam F you're out. Tak boleh. So macam so aku we feel more related to that. You want to be accepted, but you want to be accepted in this clique, in this group, in this family, in this cool lump of people. Tapi tak boleh. That resonates with so many people better than the whole, wah aku OP tapi aku nak jadi normal dan sampah lah, menyampah lah jadi OP. So this is more relatable.
Definitely. And aku rasa kita nampak angle tu sikit dalam Act 1 di mana mak dia bagi dia pesanan sebelum dia pergi kejar Gwen tu.
Yes.
Tu based on mak dia punya peristiwa ataupun experience as a Latina
Yes.
yang selalu kena racism and shit like that. Tapi it also works in terms of Miles versus the Spider Society. So aku macam wow.
Yeah, so smooth. Such smooth writing, serious.
Alright, so kita dah tak
Sorry.
silakan.
Kalau ada juga komen dia cakap Saitama tu cerita lain pula. Saitama dia work for it and then he become overwhelmingly powerful and now he just wants to be accepted among the ranks of the other heroes. But it is so weird when with this one punch he could possibly kill and use excessive force to destroy the enemy, and that's not very heroic, right? So he's kind of low on the rank. That's a different dilemma, and I think Saitama is also like another cool take on the chosen one thing, the rejection of the chosen one trope. I would say another one would be like Jessica Jones. She doesn't reject her powers. She just like where do I come from? She's just like frustrated, and she's not like lauding her powers. She's not I think like the most like another one would be Hancock. It's just that Hancock is kind of lame. The one with Will Smith.
So basically semua watak-watak Adiwira ni adalah postmodern commentary on the superhero trope yang kita dah ada sejak 1930-an, 1940-an. So that's why watak-watak macam Saitama, Hancock, Miles Morales, semua ni it's like you earn it to be who you are. Yeah. So dia bukan macam ada meteor jatuh betul aku jadi berkuasa, betul lah. So anyway, kita ada 6 soalan. Pertama daripada Ismail yang berkatakan MCU ni berapa? 616 ke 1999? Kenapa ada dua versi? Boleh saya terangkan? Okay, basically Marvel Comics Universe adalah Earth 616, manakala MCU adalah Earth 1999. Dan ini merupakan satu kontroversi pasal Mysterio yang tipu, yang cakap I know about your Earth 616. Dan aku rasa pelakon Kamalahan dah sangkal dan kata, apa di 5G? Kau keep shit proper boleh tak? So, yes. MCU 199999, Marvel Comics Universe 616. Alright. Seterusnya, Ismail juga menambah, teori absolute point dalam What If tu ada persamaan tak dengan Flash? Yes. Basically, spaghetti yang berpintal-pintal menurut explanation Bad Kitten tu adalah bukan absolute point tapi effectively dia cakap, absolute point tu ialah yang mak dia akan mati ataupun dunia ni akan mati, manakala yang
ni aku nak bantu
tu adalah equation. Silakan.
Okay, aku faham benda ni can be quite confusing lah, tapi aku try come up with analogies lah bagi senang faham sikit lah. Before kita bincang pasal absolute point ke incursions ke apa benda ke, macam aku sebut tadi, the one thing kau kena ingat, there's two types of orang kata multiversal punya damage. The first type of damage is incursion. Incursion tu is dua timelines berlanggar into each other. Yang tu the first damage. The second damage is kalau absolute point atau canon event tu rosak, universe tu satu je, tak kacau siapa, tapi dia akan collapse dengan sendiri tau. So yang jadi dalam What If tu is yang collapse sendiri. So kau tengok universe Doctor Strange tu dia je collapse. Yang neighboring universes tak kacau pun. So that's why it's the same dengan the canon event dalam Across the Spider-Verse ni. So kita nampak dunia Miguel tu yang tu je hancur. Any neighboring universe tak kacau pun. Masa jadi kat Spider India punya dunia pun, kita nampak is dia punya world tu implode in on itself tau. Dia tak ada another world datang belanggar dia. Kalau incursions, kau tengah duduk kat dunia kau, langit kau Titan merah, kau tengok atas ada another planet tengah nak bertembung dengan kau. That is an incursion which Miguel tengah buat sekarang ni sebab dia duk move the spider people between universes. Incursions tu jadi sebab bila kau banyak travel between dimensions, so dinding dia akan rosak, itu jadi incursion. Tapi yang What If tu, what if ni nak senang ingat dia macam ni. Kau bayangkan every timeline tu is a house tau, rumah tau. So even aku pun bila aku kerja, kalau aku kena renovate rumah kan, okay, aku pecah dinding ni, selamat, aku pecah tangga tu, okay. Tapi aku kena tengok floor plan ada 4-5 tiang yang aku definitely tak boleh ketuk tau. Kalau ketuk tiang tu, rumah tu akan collapse tau. Itu yang what if itu absolute point, aka canon event. Within the house, which is your timeline, ada setengah kolom kau tak boleh pecahkan. Kalau kau pecahkan, the house akan collapse. That is kalau kau main dengan absolute point canon event. Incursions is more tu, ni rumah kau, sebelah ni ada rumah jiran kau, lepas tu tanah dia mendap, rumah jiran kau jatuh dari rumah kau. Itu incursions. So tu beza dia.
TLDR, absolute point dengan flash point, is the same concept. Cuma yang flash point was called flash because the flash started it, but it's basically the same thing. Yes, flash point, that's what it's called. In the flash.
Canon events yang kau tak boleh tukar. Tapi Barry tak belajar. Dia letak juga tin kat atas yang menyebabkan canon event baru. Bodoh lah Barry, kau bodoh lah. Itu ada DCU sekarang. Semua salah Ezra Miller. Macam tu kan. Alright, seterusnya Ismail juga menambah, adakah punca ada multiverse ni mula dari musnahnya Infinity Stones dalam Endgame? Sebabkan in show 1 ada cakap something bad will happen kalau Infinity Stones ni tak ada. Kau kena ingat Captain America dah balik dan dia hantar semua balik at the appropriate timeline, tapi dia lepak dekat zaman Agent Carter pasal that was the last job. Lepas dia macam I'm just gonna stay in the past. Yeah. So tidak sebab terjadinya multiverse punya masalah ini, multiverse war ni adalah kerana Sylvie bunuh He Who Remains di penghujung siri Loki. So semuanya salah Sylvie. Alright. Seterusnya Amber Heard juga menambah, dekat Mountbatten Miguel ada cakap yang Miles break the canon event by saving Inspector Singh dan juga Miles not supposed to be there. So adakah kematian Aunt May dalam No Way Home yang dibunuh oleh Goblin bukan daripada dunia dia, breaking the canon event? So apa pendapat korang? Apa pendapat para panelis? Kita nak mulakan.
Wow.
Alright.
Aku rasa tak. In my opinion, Aunt May yang kena bunuh dengan Goblin tu, dia tak break a canon event for the simple reason is that the universe Tom Holland tu tak hancur lagi. So meaning macam aku kata lah, kalau kau samakan satu timeline tu sebagai satu rumah kan, and macam aku cakap di analogi renovation tadi aku masuk, there are things yang aku boleh ubah tapi rumah aka universe tu takkan collapse. Macam aku pecah tangga ni, aku tukar tingkap dia, ganti pintu baru, cabut tile, letak tile baru, tak apa. Semua dia ada benda yang aku boleh ubah. Dia bukannya tak boleh ubah langsung. There are things you can change. Cumanya ada setengah tiang tu aku tak boleh pecahkan. Kalau aku buat yang tu, dia akan runtuh. So walaupun kejam, but you could say that Aunt May dying or living tak penting sebenarnya to that timeline, to that house. So her living is not a canon event. Kalau her living is a canon event, universe tu dah collapse on itself dah by now. But that didn't happen. So gitulah.
Aku suka penjelasan kau. Sai?
And then like kena ingat kan, semua villain kecuali Electro, diorang dah nak mati. Diorang diambil dari waktu sebelum diorang nak mati dengan tangan Peter Parker, tak kisahlah Maguire ke, tak kisahlah Garfield ke, diorang diambil lepas tu masuk dekat dunia Tom Holland. So by the time they return home, they dead. So they're not gonna affect anything outside. So yeah, I think that should answer the question.
Yeah, aku suka penjelasan korang. Alright, soalan seterusnya pun lebih kurang sama. Waktu Andrew Spidey save MJ dalam No Way Home, tu ubah canon event ke? So macam yang Munif dah explain, dalam rumah tu pecah tingkap je. So dia punya foundation masih ada. So I think Earth 1999 will still be okay. Dan seterusnya Just One juga menambah, Alchemax dan Super Collider ni ada dekat semua dimension atau Earth ke? Punca Mars 1610 ni jadi anomaly. I think dalam kebanyakan Earth akan ada Alchemax. Super Collider aku tak sure. Pasal dalam Marvel Comics Universe pun Alchemax wujud pada timeline Peter Parker dan juga timeline Miguel O'Hara in the future tu 2099. So kita tengok dalam Spider-Man India punya Earth pun ada juga. So I guess in most
Yang ni
ya, silakan.
yang ni I have something to add untuk bagi sedang ingat lah kalau ada. Sebab questions macam ni akan ada banyak kali tau. Sebab bila kita cakap multiverse, there are many repeating things kan. But the easiest thing to remember is this lah. Di dalam seluruh multiverse, dia ada dua constant.
Yeah.
The first constant is dalam every multiverse akan ada molecule man. Dalam every universe akan ada molecule man, and this is the law. And dalam every multiverse there will be a Kang the Conqueror yang generally akan menjadi sikap yang sama. So in the whole multiverse, these are memang unique tau, the two constants, Kang and molecule man. Apart from that, everything could be 99% of the universe ada Alchemax, tiada 1% je tak ada. Dia jadi macam it's too infinite untuk kau discuss. Tapi memang dia kan ada tak ada tapi dia bukan constant. There will be universe yang tak ada rasa. Sebab the only established constant is Kang and molecule man.
Kan ada lagi satu lah. Bukan ada lagi satu.
Wanda sebagai
I think it's the Phoenix Force. It's an omniversal being. Maksud dia ada satu je. Dia sama macam ada America Chavez. Dia ada satu je America Chavez, ada satu je America Chavez.
That's the inverse of what Munif just said. Dia terbalik. Hanya ada satu. Sedangkan yang Munif cakap ada banyak.
Ya,
cakap constant.
Oh, constant. Oh, maksud dia no matter what semua akan ada versi diorang sendiri satu.
Yes. Betul.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, like yang ni what I'm saying is omniversal. Maksud ada satu je America Chavez, ada satu je Phoenix Force. Phoenix Force tu mati dekat mana-mana multiverse pun dia tak ada. America Chavez mati, dia tak ada dah, tak wujud kat mana. Those tu ada anomalies lah. Sorry, it's a later altogether.
Cool. Fik, ada apa-apa nak tambah?
Oh tak. Dia kira macam Nexus Being kan? Kalau dalam MCU dia sama
dalam
ke?
MCU dia
Sama
panggil
bangsa?
Nexus Being.
Nexus Being kan? Okay.
Yang a Nexus Being tu pula, the thing about Nexus Beings is that dia not necessarily has to be orang kata omniversal lah. Because the definition of a Nexus Being dia relate to Nexus event. Kan bila kata Nexus event, you do something different in what would be a normal timeline, they create branches kan. So kau kena faham, the word nexus tu means a point of connection. So nexus event is kalau satu benda ni kacau, so dia jadi that's a connection between 2-3 branching punya timeline. That's a nexus event. So essentially what it is probability tau. Kalau aku makan sandwich ni, pergi straight. Kalau aku buang sandwich ni, pergi sini. Kalau sandwich ni aku bagi kucing makan, dia jadi another cabar, jadi 3 tu. So that's the nexus event lah, nexus point. The thing about Nexus Being is that they don't have to be omniversal. They could be anyone yang dia punya abilities or nature dia is messing up probabilities. So anyone yang power kata probabilities, dia akan considered a Nexus Being. Contoh macam Wanda, dia kan buat chaos magic kan. The thing about chaos magic is that dia bukan macam mana. I guess in a way it is reality manipulation. Tapi how is that reality manipulated? By twisting probability. So the moment benda tu sentuh, yang manipulate and orang kata disembowel probability, you are a Nexus Being. Walaupun kau punya rate of existence in the multiverse tu maybe ada kau in half the universe ada, or satu saja in all the universe, or ada in every universe, it doesn't matter. Because if your abilities kacau probability, you are Nexus Being.
That's cool. Dan persoalan seterusnya adalah apa pula dengan Domino dan Franklin Richards. Tapi I think that's for another day. Alright. So,
Tunggu
dengan
FF
itu-
keluar dia.
Ya, kita tunggu FF keluar. So kita ada last two question untuk segmen ni. Pertama, Soal Champion bertanya, abang tak buat spoiler talk Rise of the Beast ke? Yes, kita akan buat spoiler talk Rise of the Beast esok bersama Jamal Raslan dan juga Shazli American. So join us tomorrow untuk spoiler talk Transformers Rise of the Beast. Dan soalan terakhir adalah Rahman bertanya, dalam komik Marvel ada berapa jenis Earth? Jawapan dia adalah banyak. Macam dalam DC pun dia orang cakap ada 52. Lepas tu dia baru introduce the negative multiverse. So ada negative 1 sampai negative 52. Lepas tu ada banyak lagi. So jawapan
Dia Nick. Kau patut jawab macam ni Nick. Dia tanya, oh Marvel ada berapa jenis Earth? Yes.
Betul, yes. Jawapan dia yes.
Jawapan dia yes.
Macam itulah. Alright guys, so dengan itu kita akan ke live kita yang terakhir malam ini. Right, so yang terakhir adalah tentang Komik 2. Saya rasa tiga soalan. Telah menghantar Miles Morales kembali ke Earth 42 dan bukannya Earth 1610 kerana DNA Miles kini enhanced by the spider bite yang berasal daripada Earth 42. So silakan.
Okay, so this is another jaw drop moment lah kan. Yang first tadi pun dah jaw drop, kali kedua lagi sekali kita jaw drop. Tiba-tibanya Miles Morales kena hantar dekat Earth 42 instead of Earth 1610. The thing is, apa yang spider bite buat tu, it goes to the nature of dia nak help. Dia bukan nak tolong, oh sebab kau berada kulit hitam, kita kulit hitam, aku suka kau, kau suka aku, okay aku tolong kau. Tak adalah macam tu. But it more, dia lebih kepada spider bite rasa siapa yang betul. Sama seperti Spider-Gwen, Spider-Noir, Peter Van Parker, lepas tu Spider-Punk itself. Dia rasa siapa yang betul. Sebab before this, Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara dia dah tanamkan satu benih tau dalam kepala setiap Spider-Man, yang mana apa yang dia buat ni is for the good sake of Spider Society, of Spider-Man kan. Dan everyone boleh relate dengan apa yang dia ceritakan, apa yang dia jual, apa yang dia letak atas meja kan. Yang mana setiap Spider-Man perlukan pengorbanan dan sebagainya. Even Spectacular Spider-Man believe in this. Dia tak ada pun nak against dengan Spider-Man 2099, even Spider-Man lain pun termasuklah dengan Scarlet Spider itself lah. Tapi there's some other people, Spider-Man, yang believe apa yang Miles buat ni betul, walaupun ianya akan mewujudkan civil war di antara Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Woman, termasuklah dengan Miles Morales lah. So apabila dia transfer ke Earth 42 tu, serious thought this is out of my expectation. Dia tak as macam biasa buat correct plot dan sebagainya. We talk about teori, tapi this one is macam kita tak expect langsung. Sebab dia macam, kita tahu filem-filem superhero ni, kalau kita nak berteori boleh, tapi dia macam kalau dia expand ataupun lebih besar teorinya, dia akan jadi lebih mengarut. Tapi for the first time, Sony pilih this kind of route, this kind of path untuk wujudkan, okay, spider yang gigit Miles tu sebenarnya adalah daripada universe berbeza. So Miles dihantar ke Earth 42 instead of Earth 1610, dan diperkenalkan dalam universe tersebut Miles Morales adalah Prowler. Okay, dan untuk menjawab juga persoalan kepada ramai yang cakap, oh kiranya Miles kita ni, Miles Earth 1610 is Prowler lah kiranya at the first place. Okay, this is coming from my perspective only lah. I believe Earth 1610 is a universe ataupun Earth di mana ada dua Spider-Man yang exist, Spider-Man Peter Parker dan juga Miles Morales, sama seperti komik. At the first place, cerita dia sama sebiji macam dalam komik lah, di mana dua Spider-Man hidup. Tapi ianya berubah. The Spider-Verse start apabila Jonathan On letakkan Spider 42 tu ke dalam universe Earth 1610. Tapi Spider 42 tu memilih Miles walau dia tahu, Spider tu tahu yang dia berada di universe yang berbeza kan, tapi dia still pergi kepada Miles sebab Miles is destiny to be a Spider-Man. So my theory is Earth 42 dan juga Earth 1610, both of them supposed to be Spider-Man. Tapi Earth 42 is a universe yang the original Spider-Man. Dekat situ tak ada, Peter Parker tak wujud dekat situ. Dekat situ Miles is the original Spider-Man. Tapi dekat Earth 1610 we have Miles Morales sebagai Spider-Man dan juga Peter Parker. Tapi Miles Morales dan Earth 1610, dia punya kejadian dia menjadi Spider-Man tu, for me it's too early. Timing dia tak tepat. Itu adalah my assumption lah. Tapi again, nak menambah kepada this humble theory, I don't think Prowler in Earth 42 adalah seorang yang jahat ataupun evil. Why I believe like that? Sebabkan dalam dunia tersebut, dalam Earth 42, kita dapat witness bandar tersebut adalah bandar tanpa Spider-Man, dan bandar tersebut itself sangat-sangat chaotic yang berkemungkinan dipegang oleh Sinister Six. Dia ada banyak iklan-iklan Rhino, kita ada Electro dan sebagainya. So my assumption is Miles Prowler Earth 42 tu is something like vigilante. Dia bukan superhero, tapi dia macam I'm Prowler and I try to become like my father. Dia macam tu. Sort of macam tu lah. Mungkin at the first place dia akan ada conflict with Miles Earth 1610 ni about becoming Spider-Man, ayah kau hidup lagi dan sebagainya. But a part of that, dia punya story akan develop. Okay, macam ni Miles, kita ada something yang kita kena bualkan, and sort of macam the sport and so on lah. So yeah, that's my opinion about that.
Aku suka teori Brazil kau, menarik tu. Dalam satu dunia yang penuh dengan chaos, kau juga kena jadi ganas untuk melawan dia.
Yeah.
So, cool. Hopefully kita dapat payoff di dalam Beyond nanti. Alright, soalan kedua adalah untuk Sai. Apakah pendapat anda tentang pengenalan Earth 42 sebagai the inverse reality of Earth 1610, di mana Miles Morales punya shadow self adalah versi di mana ayahnya mati, Uncle Aaron dia hidup lagi dan mendidiknya menjadi The Prowler. #kilometer immorales. So silakan. That is sebaliknya of Miles Morales lah, kilometer immorales. So silakan. Jap.
Sorry, okay.
Kau kena.
Okay. Pada pendapat aku, I like the fact that is the case, and again it's like the fact that Miles Morales 1610 isn't supposed to be Spider-Man. It's supposed to be on Earth 42 and instead dia jadi Prowler. The thing is, aku pernah dulu sebelum MCU lagi tahun 2005 nak tahu pasal Marvel Comics, sebab aku tak banyak akses kepada Marvel Comics, so aku just buka Wikipedia. Aku tulis Spider-Man, and then aku tekan mana-mana hero, villain, kumpulan mana pun, tempat apa semua, organisasi mana semua balik pada Spider-Man. It is to say that Spider-Man, most of the time is Peter Parker, is like the center of the world. And that's even like a comic where one above all, which is supposed to be God, even atas lagi daripada the Living Tribunal yang ada kepala 3, like dia cakap dengan Spider-Man sendiri, cakap directly like Spider-Man nak give up dah. At that time supposed to be like Aunt May is dying or something, and then dia walk Peter Parker through pantai kan. Lepas tu kat pantai tu penuh dengan orang yang Peter Parker pernah selamatkan. Benda-benda kecil dia selamat, dia buat macam like, you know, dia tunjuk arah, dah tu sampai kat destinasi dia selamat, dia tak kena bunuh. Lepas tu dia pergi stop robbery, lepas tu orang tu membesar jadi orang yang berguna and all that. So because of that, it shows just how important Spider-Man is. Not to be blasphemous, tapi untuk senang nak bandingkan, untuk oversimplify things, macam dengan Islam ada Nabi Muhammad kan. Spider-Man kira macam tu lah untuk dunia Marvel. It's like it's something else. It's not even like Spider-Man isn't even the most powerful heroes out there, but he is the most important. So the non-existence of Spider-Man to me, I think not only affect Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York. I think it affects the entire Earth of Earth 42. The absence of Spider-Man. Now, aku setuju dengan apa Afiq cakap tadi tu. Ada possibility besar yang Prowler ni is not a villain, more like a vigilante. You know, one could argue Spider-Man is also a vigilante, but compared to like a Spider-Man or to a Daredevil or Punisher, Spider-Man leave the enemies to the cops, right? So kind of like he becomes a hero lah for the most part. So Prowler approach dia maybe more like, you know, the typical Punisher and the Devil, like take it into his own hands. And I've been watching a lot of like cases of gang wars dekat US, you know, yang dimasukkan dekat dalam trap music, drill music and all that. Channel Trap Law Ross case pasal King Von. So yang aku boleh nampak kebanyakan orang dekat situ, dia bukannya dia orang nak bunuh orang, bukan dia nak bunuh black on black violence all the time. It's like they choose that. Is that they grow up without fathers, without education, without money to survive, and the best way they can they know how to survive is to, you know, do terrible things. Like for example, they sell drugs. But then you cannot have you can't sell drugs across your territory. You have to fight one another, right? So I think similar to that, Prowler represents that energy. He may not be a hero, but he essentially do what needs to be done. Just the approach is different, and that's why the world turns out that way. And I think this is like a good parallel to show the difference between a true hero and a vigilante, and to show no matter what, for one, the world needs a Spider-Man, at least in the world of Marvel, no matter which one it is. And two, like as long as you're doing your best, every fight matters. And even in Across the Spider-Verse, if you really think about it, everybody is a main character. To me, Gwen being the opening and the closing tak take away Mas Morales punya cerita. And even like there's like an arc of Peter B. Parker dapat anak, dapat Mayday, right? To me, the even the hobby, if you think about hobby, if it wasn't for him datang dekat Nueva York, curi little pieces and then make that watch, like Gwen can go anywhere, right? So he's kind of a main character. Miguel, basically, you know, he wants to stop like what he thinks is a canon thing, but essentially maybe it's an incursion. And that is his story. He's the main character of the story. The difference between the world of the Spider-Verse and storytelling in these two movies compared to any other superhero movie so far is that in the other superhero movies there may be other superheroes, right? But unless they're in the title, like the Wasp dekat dalam movie Ant-Man yang kedua kan, in the first one, the Wasp is just a side character, so she doesn't really matter all that much in terms of the main motivation. But in the second movie, she matters more. So following that sense, the other characters, they're still side characters. But in the world of Spider-Verse, you have to think that every single character is the main character. And you have to look at setiap character, you choose one. You can choose Margot Cass, for example. You say, she's the main character. You look at, how without me, jaga tempat ni and then they control all the systems, you know, everything can fall apart. Even more, incursions, or in this case what she thinks is like a absolute point that will be ruined, a canon event that will be ruined without her. So you can take any character like that. So if you think about it that way, Prowler is just a mirror, a parallel to Spider-Man. In this case, I'm talking about both the Miles Morales versions of Spider-Man, Prowler.
Nice. I never thought of it that way, man. It's pretty cool. Alright, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah untuk Munif ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang idea kilometer immorales yang tidak pernah dipikirkan langsung oleh mana-mana penulis di Marvel Comics sejak watak ini wujud, sejak Miles Morales wujud from 2011 lagi. It's such a simple idea, man. But yeah, apa pula bagaimana?
But I'm not sure about macam tak pernah ada this kind of concept though. I mean, there aku rasa as far as I know dalam komik memang tak ada lah a prowler Miles Morales. Or at least I haven't read one kalau ada lah. But tak silap aku there was or something close to that would be the very cringily named Selim lah kalau kau ingat. Selim tu Miles terbalik kan jadi Selim. So apa ada one time tu rasa Miles Morales pernah kena colek with this AI villain ni nama dia Assessor, which is obsessed in creating the perfect soldier, perfect weapon and then jual to the highest bidder something, modus operandi dia macam tu lah. So this Assessor ni pernah tangkap and actually torture Miles Morales, and hasil daripada dia tak sure apa dia, a few days lah dia kurung Miles Morales buat macam eksperimen kat dia, and dia dapat produce I think three clones of Miles Morales. So jadi the leader tu nama dia Selim, and then the other dua tu dianggap macam brothers ya, and these guys were terrorizing shit sebab dia orang tiga ni bayangkan kau ada all the powers of Miles Morales tapi macam grew up in a lab and grew up at super speed so mereka clone kan, jadi macam dewasa in no time. Didn't have a meaningful connection with another human being, didn't have enough time to grow up as a functional human being, so grow up at record speeds, dibela by a heartless AI lagi kan, yang dia tahu just train mereka tu jadi the perfect weapons, ajar mereka bunuh orang, ajar mereka at 12 year old dah macam ajar macam mana nak dissect mayat lah, kat mana nak potong yang paling senang lah apalah. So kau ada these three psycho Miles Morales with all the spider powers and then still dok bawa macam shank dok bawa pisau lagi dok lawan orang. So macam what the fuck dia orang. So yeah, there was that version although bukan exactly a prowler variant, but interestingly because this Miles Morales clone was created to be as superior as a human being can be, aku rasa the part where kalau kau notice dalam Across the Spider-Verse bila dia jumpa the prowler Miles nampak macam dia punya Spanish ada slang sikit kan masa dia introduce nama dia kan, while we know Miles macam didn't do so well untuk dia punya Spanish test which mak dia mengamuk. One of the things pasal Selim ni, the clone, is that dia better at killing, better at fighting, better at semua ni, and also super fasih in all the languages that Miles is supposed to boleh cakap. They actually can is even more fluent than Miles, which includes that Spanish lah. So aku rasa the idea of this centimeter Morales benda ni is that this prowler Morales ni dia ambil bits and pieces. Aku rasa this must have been the inspiration this obscure Selim punya karakter ni. So kalau kau nak baca pasal dia ni, he's in the Miles Morales Spider-Man punya comics line. Must have been issue I don't know 20 something lah, 20 something itu kau tengok nanti adalah perihal pasal Mamat ni lah. And here's another fun thing, and dia pun eventually some time travel shenanigans akan involve, and this Miles punya clones akan pergi pula into a dystopian macam destroyed future where it's being ruled by actually an evil variant future Miles who probably had a hand in creating these clones in the past untuk serve dia something macam tu lah. So yang tu pun kind of mimic what we see in Across the Spider-Verse. Kau pergi to a dystopian world seemingly with an evil Miles. So dalam komik pun mereka akan pergi to dystopian world yang ada seemingly evil Miles, and andai kata mereka memang follow this Slim punya kisah ni, one of the cool things yang jadi in the comic is that the good Miles pergi this dystopian future, dia actually kena team up dengan, apparently he has a sister in this dystopian future ni, and sister dia jadi macam rebel and freedom fighter amidst the ruins untuk lawan the oppressive conqueror Miles. Macam tu. So manalah tahu, aku rasa tentang we haven't seen anything yet from across the Spider-Verse punya Prowler punya world tu. So boleh jadi teori fake tu betul juga. Boleh jadi yang memang that Prowler Miles tu jahat. It could be like the comics pun. The maybe Prowler Miles tu dia very wary lah sampai dia ikat the Miles Morales baik yang kita tahu ni pasal apa. In his world is probably being run rampant by evil like clone Miles. So sebab tu dia tak terkejut pasal jumpa another Miles, pasal to him it's not multiversal, cuma dalam dunia tu clone Miles running rampant is already a thing, common knowledge. So sebab tu dia ikat just nak tahu which Miles are you. Maybe lah ni kalau aku nak chip in to the theory lah, because I really do feel this character is sourced from this whole Slim punya obscure punya story. Kalau kau berminat nak tengok lah. So that's my theory Brazil a bit on that one.
Gila tu. Miles Morales pun ada Spider Clone Saga yang ikut.
Dia pun ada kat.
Aku ingatkan Peter Parker je ada Spider Clone Saga yang sampai. Bubble tak pernah belajar tu. Alright, so itu adalah semua soalan untuk segmen ni tentang kilometer Morales ataupun Slim. Dengan itu kita dah bincangkan 5 benda yang kita like daripada filem ni. Sekarang kita bincang harapan kita untuk Beyond the Spider-Verse. Malam ini adalah tentang harapan kami Beyond. Jadi masa kita bincangkan at the beginning, masa segmen reaksi tadi, menurut laman vulture.com, filem sequel Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse mungkin ditunda dan tidak ditayangkan pada bulan Mac 2024 kerana seorang animator yang terlibat dengan produksi mengesahkan bahawa the only progress that has been made on the third film is any exploration or tests that were done before the movie was split into 2 parts. So ada high chance yang Mac 2024 kita takkan dapat Beyond. Jadi soalan aku untuk Fik adalah, apakah harapan anda untuk filem sequel Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse sekiranya ia miss its March 2024 release date dan produksi memerlukan lagi 5 tahun untuk berhabiskan projek sebesar 1000 animator ini? So silakan.
Okay, for me, kalau lepas dah tengok Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse pun, kalau Beyond the Spider-Verse akan delay, for me, saya tak kisahlah, sebabnya daripada Across the Spider-Verse pun yang makan masa 5 tahun, walaupun VFX artist dikerah macam hamba abdi dan sebagainya, the quality is there lah kan, kita boleh tengok kat situ kan. So kalau dia nak rushing untuk pergi tahun depan pun, rasanya fans Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse boleh tunggu for the best. Kita tak nak this movie, this franchise Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse tiba-tiba hancur dekat Beyond the Spider-Verse. Kita tak nak benda macam itulah. So my hope, first thing first adalah daripada segi visual artist lah. Maybe after this mungkin filem ni akan tunda 2-3 tahun ke kan. So akan ada justice for them, tu satu. And another thing, diorang repeat the same thing lah, repeat the same idea ataupun polish lagi cerita Spider-Punk, polish lagi cerita Spider-Man yang lain, improve apa yang Across the Spider-Verse ada ni, improve lagi better and make the film a climax of Spider-Verse, something like that lah. And a part of that, I hope that this film wrap up well penceritaan Miles Morales lah. Yeah. On how daripada mula dia tak jadi Spider-Man sampai dia jadi Spider-Man dah sekarang ni, and so on. Yeah, I wish Miles the best lah, writing and everything. Yeah.
Betul.
Tak apa, tunggu lama pun tak apa.
Yes. Cuma harap-harap jangan rombak lagi final render lah.
Ya.
Macam tu lah. Soalan seterusnya adalah untuk saya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Across mengambil masa 5 tahun selepas Into dan yang tu keluar 2018, ini 2023. Kemudian skrip untuk Beyond tak siap langsung pasal produksi terlalu fokus untuk siapkan Across. Adakah studios memilih untuk set future release dates ni in stone sebenarnya hindering the creative process di sebalik tabir Hollywood? So silakan.
Okay, terus dia untuk soalan last tu. Bagi aku agak like rasa macam disappointed juga ah. Sebab nampak gaya cerita ni. Mula-mula aku tengok, aku ingat cerita dia dah siap. Dan dia bahagikan kepada dua. Dan dia releasekan satu-satu untuk keep like appearance lah kan. Macam orang buat YouTube video awal-awal, dia buat 5 video sekaligus untuk dia keluarkan satu minggu dua episod contohnya. So I thought it was like that, but from the looks of it, how things turn out, they set themselves for failure, at least in terms of meeting the deadline while at the same time releasing a quality film. To me, I would rather have it 5 years from now, because I want it to be as polished as possible while the process being as humane as possible. And to me, the I just hope, just like Fit, I just hope the movie whenever, however it comes out the best. It concludes the story. But actually my like hopes for it like further is like beyond the Spider-Verse, and not just, this is me making a pun, maksud dia beyond that, because I think of like Spider-Man as a whole, right? So I hope it concludes the story of Miles Morales, and I hope like if it takes 5 years, then so be it. And I don't, again, I don't want another re-render when things are finished. I don't want like another, oh kau dah siap, okay kau ubah ni. I think to even like think about like yang scene yang diorang nak semua kejar dia dekat train tu, and then to think of the placement of which Spider-Man to be in there, because you cannot like put all of them in there, right? I think they took the time that it took, as inhumane as it was, the fate was, the movie came out and it came out great. So I hope the last one, it will come out really, really great as well, even though the approach is gonna take a little bit more time. So I'm very disappointed that it's not finished, not in the sense that I expect them to finish it now, because not just the typical live action movies, now is even animated, and we know how crazy animations are. Like minutes of animation could take like 2 weeks to like draw and put together and render. So I don't expect it in that sense. More like, because Across the Spider-Verse is already so ambitious, aku ingatkan macam aku ingatkan macam tadi lah, dia dah siap, sebenarnya tak. And like I hope they can do a good job, I kind of want to see some more Spider-Man, like people say the Japanese Spider-Man is in there, but I watched it 2 times, I didn't see him. Even if he's there, I want him to be at the front and center, not just at the back. I want to hear him say some stuff. I want more from Ben Reilly. Like, look, they even make him in the looks of MTV Spider-Man, also rejected by the fans overall. So it's very meta, actually, that they make him look like that. So I want, just like Andrew Garfield were able to like redeem himself, I hope Ben Reilly can also redeem himself in some kind of way, right? And then I want to see other Spider-Man, like Octavius Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus become superior Spider-Man. I want to see Bruce Banner Spider-Man, maybe like he take a break from me. Like, I kind of want to see more, but I hope in the next one, because in this one they already did the movie where it shows all the Spider-Man, it goes crazy with the numbers, right, with the quantity. I hope next time it comes with the quality and just focus on the few again, just like they did the first movie.
Yes, definitely. Nampaknya kita akan ada 2 band bergaduh, iaitu Spider-Man 299 punya Spider Society versus Gwen dan Hobie Brown punya band. Alright. So, soalan terakhir adalah untuk Munif. Sebagai seorang kaki komik, apakah pendapat anda apabila ketiga-tiga pengarah Across the Spider-Verse telah tease dalam interviews bahawa Beyond the Spider-Verse bakal menerokai satu, dunia Spider-Punk iaitu Hobie Brown, dan juga dua, menerokai pelbagai variant Spider-Gwen di seluruh multiverse. So, silakan Munif.
Honestly speaking, they put mention pasal the Hobie Brown punya universe tu quite intrigued me tau. Visually tak payah cerita lah. Kau nampak Hobie Brown, you know, one character jump out from that universe tu nampak just so wildly animated, and so how will dia punya world look like, and how will the guys from the other worlds look like inside that world. So yang tu point of intrigue yang pertama tau. The second point of intrigue is that, as macam aku cakap tadi, korang tahu, I'm of the camp yang sangat convinced eventually dia akan jadi incursion sekali with the MCU lah. That's where dia akan bertemu for the Secret Wars. So kan, bearing that in mind, kenapa kata dia decision to tease pasal Hobie Brown punya world ni is interesting, because you guys can correct me if I'm wrong lah, tapi aku tak baca all the spin-off comics for the Spider variants, but of the few yang aku dah baca, aku rasa it's Hobie alone now yang pernah ada direct conflict dengan Kang. Yeah, so I don't know if that's the idea. Kan, maybe dia nak, that's one of the ways untuk nak blend in MCU punya big bad and the Spider punya perihal ke apa benda ke. But yeah, Hobie, or rather Hobie punya world is one of the few worlds that actually Kang directly datang invade into tau, another confrontation dengan dia kan. So maybe they could pay a homage to that while at the same time sharing the big bad lah, which is supposed to be Kang. Which leads to aku punya harapan lah. I know this is a Spider-Man movie, I know this is a Spider-Verse movie, but if you're gonna join in sekali into Secret War, you need to carry your weight juga and help to set up Kang, because the MCU has done a very lousy job in doing that. So we need an important big screen adaptation, and situ ada set up Kang. Macam kalau setakat 2 seasons of Loki je nak sebut dia, and then kau muncul-muncul yang kalah dengan semut, so no one's gonna give a shit. In fact, they already don't give a shit that sampai Little Mermaid pun kutip lagi banyak daripada Kang punya first giant screen appearance. If that doesn't tell you that I'm right and Feige is wrong, I don't know what will. So yeah, harapan aku is that lah. Aku harap, kenapa dia cakap pasal the Hobie punya world ni is because memang in the comics Kang actually set foot di situ, and hopefully, yeah, like I said, the final movie, don't make it about Kang lah, obviously, still make it about Miles Morales and everything, tapi end credit at the end tu, you know, carry your weight juga and tease the MCU punya big bad, since you're gonna be in collaboration anyways kan, so it's for your sake and your stakes juga. So itulah.
Ya, yang tu Kak Amy cari pasal kena counting dengan Abang Faiji lah. Kalau tidak, susah. Alright, kita hanya ada satu soalan ataupun komen daripada penonton di rumah. Jaswan berkata, boleh tak tahu tentang Penny Parker punya canon event di mana robot Venom telah makan Aunt May and her best friend? I think exactly that is her canon event. That's why kau nampak dalam Across ni dia naik robot Eva Evangelion, dan dia macam sedih gila, muka dia dah murung, dia bukan happy macam dulu dah. So Fik, kalau kau nak ceritakan tentang Penny Parker ataupun silakan. silakan.
Tak, basically betul lah dia dalam Spider Garden kan. Even yang Abang Munif cakap tadi pasal Spider Punk tu betul juga. Dalam Edge of Spider Garden juga rasanya. So
Yes,
tapi
betul.
Canon event Penny Parker tu anime dengan dia punya best friend. Best friend dia kawal robot Venom tapi robot Venom dia macam mana dia macam tu lah. So lepas tu anime mati dalam suit robot Venom tu.
Kena consume, it went
yes.
rogue.
Yes.
Semoga terjawab persoalan Jaswan tu. Alright, so aku rasa dengan itu berakhirlah kita punya sesi spoiler talk malam ni. Nyaris 3 jam. So terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, iaitu kaki komik kita, iaitu Munif Malek, Sai Ali daripada YouTube channel Brothers Ali, dan juga Fik daripada YouTube channel Finificent. Kalau korang nak big up korang punya channel ataupun apa yang korang cover, I think this is the moment. So kita mulakan dengan Fik dulu, silakan. Kalau korang suka apa yang Fik bincangkan, mana dia orang boleh cari kau dekat YouTube ke TikTok ke apa, silakan.
Kalau basically dekat YouTube lah, dekat TikTok pun nama sama juga, Finificent. So basically saya ada buat banyak pasal correct plot in terms of comic accuracy pun ada, tapi more overall kepada teori Brazil lah on what's going to happen in that film. Tapi spoiler alert lah. Spoiler alert lah. Kalau tak nak spoil, don't come to my video lah, macam tu lah.
Alright. Dan seterusnya, Sai, silakan. Kalau diorang suka cara kau bercerita, mana diorang boleh cari more of your content, silakan. I think you're on mute, bro. Kau kena unmute seperti biasa.
Pas dekat seorang ni, sebab aku perlu khabar aku untuk bagi like all the details.
Okay, silakan. The other brother Ali, silakan.
Wait. No. To the other panel first.
Oh, the other panel. Well, Munif hanyalah seorang fan.
Okay. Alright. Sorry.
Aku dah di sini ya.
Okay.
Ya, silakan.
Alright. For now kita ada channel The Brothers Ali. So you can check that out. Dekat dalam tu kita orang ada buat like one episode of podcast and then multiple episodes of like reviews, and even when we talk about Spider-Man, we eventually we eventually like do the promo.
Eventually apa?
We eventually macam do a bunch of like spoiler videos for Spider-Man asing. So we have the review of the Spider-Man movie itself and the spoiler review. Then you can talk about our other like context.
Konteks apa?
Your channel, your account.
Oh ya, kita orang ada kat Twitter, dekat Facebook, dekat YouTube channel kita orang Brothers Ali. TikTok tak aktif lagi, so at one point it will be, I don't know when. Okay, hi.
Alright. That's it from us.
Alright,
Sorry
thank you
for
the Alright guys, so aku rasa dengan itu berakhirlah segmen kita malam ini. Terima kasih kerana sudi menonton. Join us tomorrow di mana kita bakal membedah spoiler talk Transformers Rise of the Beast. Kemudian hari Khamis kita bakal keluar dengan review non-spoiler untuk Indy 5. So itu saja untuk malam ini guys. Terima kasih kepada semua panelis. Terima kasih juga kepada korang yang setia menonton selama 3 jam. Majulah fandom untuk negara. Bye guys.
Bye guys.